Q patriots around the world uniting. Q school, bringing the sauce through studying their daily Q codes. Q drops, deltas, Q proofs. Where we go on, we go all. Q patriots are friends, we are bring down the cabal. Sail on, sing it brown, Q worldwide. Where we go on, we go all. Niggas like code practice up at Q school. Bring the daily rap fire, news, Q sauce. News unlocks the map, and with Q school patriots. Trust the chief plan, E school worldwide. Q school patriots, remember we go on, we go all.
Politicians, big tech, fake news, the they fell right into Trump. Think about what Trump is doing right now. He has set up not just the Ds and the deep state players, he's also set up the rhinos. Because remember, we have a very important election coming up next year. That is the midterms. And Trump wants to know who's on his side, who's not on his side. So when he put out the call to basically use the nuclear option and the filibuster, he wanted to see, because he took a step back, he wanted to see who was on his side, who wasn't on his side. And this allows you to see the board very, very clearly. And I do believe this will be used against them later on. Now, think about what else Trump has done. He knew that there was nothing you could do with the blue states. There's a lot of cheating going on in the blue states. They're protecting their sanctuary states, their sanctuary cities. And he knew that by putting like Mamdani and the others into place, like Sherrill and Spanberger, those states, the economics of those states are going to basically implode. Taxes are going to go way up. Electricity costs are going to go way up. It's going to be a complete and utter disaster. The same thing in New York City. But I do believe Trump needed Mamdani in that position, number one, because he can use this against the Ds leading up to the midterms. Plus, I do believe that this sets up Obama in the end. Remember, Mamdani visited Obama multiple times. Now, Obama did not endorse Mamdani because, remember, Obama, he's a slick snake oil salesman. He stays in the background. He doesn't want people to realize that he is the driving force of what we're seeing today. Infiltration from within. And he's part of the Muslim Brotherhood. And I do believe what is now going to happen is that the Muslim Brotherhood is going to be coming into focus. And eventually what's going to happen, they will designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization when the time is right. Just like Trump designated Antifa as a terrorist organization. So I do believe that everything now is set up. Now, the other thing that's very interesting is that Trump, he decided to send a message letting everyone know that, hey, the fight is not over whatsoever. The fight is still on. We're still at war. We're still fighting the deep state players. And we need to stay together and we need to be one force. Because I do believe he probably sees, just like we all see, that there are certain individuals that are trying to divide the movement. And I do believe this is being done on purpose because you have to remember what Obama and his team are doing, you know, the deep state players, the far left, they are pushing an insurgency. This has been their plan from the very, very beginning. Infiltration from within. And with this insurgency, the only way to stop it is a counterinsurgency. This is why from the very beginning, Trump needed to show the people the truth of what their agenda really was. And this is why he allowed Biden to live in the White House, because he knew Biden wasn't really going to be pushing the agenda. He knew it was going to be Obama. And he wanted the deep state players to go all out and show the people what they have planned. And this really woke up a lot of people. People started to realize what was really going on. So basically, during this period of time, Trump created the counterinsurgency. He woke the people up. The people started to come together. The people rejected what they were seeing, and they voted for Trump. So Trump became president. That's part of the counterinsurgency. The people are the other part of the counterinsurgency, and he has the military. Now, he brought the military into a meeting, letting everyone know that we're going to be fighting the enemy from within. Who's the enemy from within? It's the infiltrators. It's the deep state players. It's part of their plan. And he was pretty much letting the military know that, listen, this is where we're headed. You need to remember your oath. Your oath is you will fight enemies foreign and domestic. And anyone that wants to leave or doesn't want to do this because you're part of the deep state players, you can leave now. And yes, we had certain individuals decide, listen, I'm going to retire, I'm going to resign. And they left with full honors. And they also get their pay. So basically, Trump created this counterinsurgency, the military, the presidency, and the people. Now, the deep state players, they know that they're not going to be able to stop Trump. His security now is tightened beyond belief. And they tried to assassinate him way before this, before he was president, and they failed. And they know at this point in time it's going to be very, very difficult to go after Trump. This is why I do believe they went after Charlie Kirk instead, because they needed a way to basically break up the MAGA movement. The MAGA movement is way too powerful on a national level. I'm not talking about a local level. Local level is very, very different. See, the local level, the deep state players still have that power. They still have their rig systems on the local level. And they still control their blue areas. But on a national level, the MAGA people, they are way too strong, way too powerful, and there's just too many of them. And they don't have the ability to cheat to override the MAGA people. So the only way to override the MAGA people is to divide the MAGA people. And this is what the deep state players are famous for. And they set everything in motion to try to begin the process of the people. And yes, they have many different troll accounts out there. These accounts have been created maybe 5 to 7 months ago. They have hardly any followers, and they are using all of these type of accounts to back up certain individuals to divide the movement. Now, all I'm asking is everyone watch the board. Watch it all play out. You're going to find out very, very quickly and very, very soon, and you're already starting to see this, who is against Trump and who is against MAGA. Some people will be noticeable right off the bat. Others, you will have to watch very, very carefully. And as we get closer and closer to the midterms, you're going to see them very, very clearly. So I do believe we are now witnessing a psyop. I do believe they're going to try, or they're trying to divide the movement right now, because this is part of their strategy moving into the 2026 midterm elections, because they know that this is something, if they lose everything. And the only thing they have left is war. So yes, they're going to try to push this as hard as they possibly can. And this is why I do believe Trump put out the video, which we'll be playing a little bit later, that we need to fight. The fight is not over. Don't get comfortable in your chair saying, thank God President Trump won the election because now I don't have to worry. All the deep state players have not been arrested. They're not in jail. That is coming, but we need certain things in place. I know a lot of people are becoming very, very anxious, but we can't try people with a corrupt judiciary. The only way to get rid of the judge, and we said this many times before, is to impeach them. Yes, I know Brandon Gill already filed impeachment papers on Boasberg. But once again, do you really think we have Congress on our side? Do you really think they're going to go for this? So Trump is testing the waters right now, testing the judiciary. And I do believe this is why he went ahead and said, okay, let's try Comey, open shut case. Let's try Bolton, open shut case. Let's try Letitia James, open and shut case. And there's different judges, all different in different places. So this way we can see how they react, what tactics they use, and are they going to follow the rules?
Remdesivir kills and ivermectin saves lives, and RFK tried to tell us this before he ever even assumed his role at HHS.
And your treatment are two things that are bound to kill you, ventilators and
Rule of law. This is a test right now to see where we are at. I think Trump and the Patriots know where we're at, but once again, you still have to test the waters. And this is why Trump is letting everyone know that we can't relax now. This is the final battle that we're in. This is the time that the people must come together and fight. Just like everyone came together to get Trump elected. We are now at the same exact point as we approach the midterms. We need everyone to start thinking about the midterms, thinking about how we're going to fight, how we're going to stay together, because the other side is going to try to divide because they know they can't go after Trump. They can't assassinate him. They'll try, but it's going to be very, very difficult. They can't go after the military. That's pretty difficult. So what's the weak link? What can they go after? They've done it before where they divided the people. They're going to try to do it again. And this is why we always have to be on our toes to make sure we don't fall into these traps. And I do believe this is why Trump is putting out this message, which we'll play a little bit later in this report. But let's start off with what's happening out in New York right now, because it looks like the New York City council member wants almost $200 million to defend illegal immigrants from ICE. And remember, Mamdani is saying that he's going to make New York City Trump-proof, which means they're going to protect the illegals in this city. They're going to protect the criminals in the city, and they don't want Trump coming in, removing their base, because that's really what that is. It's their base. And Tiffany Caban, and Stu Smith put this out, by the way, wants around $200 million to defend immigrant New Yorkers from Trump. So basically, we have the taxpayer money going to remove the illegals, and they want to use taxpayer money to protect the illegals. So we're paying twice now. I mean, if you don't live in New York, you're not paying the other part of it. But again, look what they're trying to do here. And every step of the way, you could see the deep state players, they're continually putting out fake stories. Michael Quigley, which is Representative Mike Quigley, put this out. ICE isn't going after the worst of the worst. This morning, they took a preschool teacher without a warrant in front of children in my district. Well, that sounds terrible, scary, except it's not true. Homeland Security put this out and said, Congressman, you're deliberately misrepresenting the facts. ICE law enforcement did not target a daycare, and we're only at this location because the female illegal alien fled inside. Here is the real story. Officers attempted to conduct a targeted traffic stop of this female. She's an illegal alien from Colombia. Officers attempted to pull over the vehicle, which was registered to a female illegal alien, with sirens and emergency lights, but the male driver refused to pull the vehicle over. Law enforcement pursued the vehicle before the assailant sped into a shopping plaza where he and the female passenger fled the vehicle. They ran into a daycare and attempted to barricade themselves inside the daycare, recklessly endangering the children inside. The illegal alien female was arrested inside a vestibule, not in the school. Upon arrest, she lied about her identity. The vehicle is registered in her name, though she claims that she didn't know the man who was driving her car and just picked him up from a bus stop. Facts, including criminality and information on the male assailant, are forthcoming, and we will update the public with more information as soon as it becomes available. Isn't this what criminals do? Don't they run from the law because they are criminals? That's exactly what we saw happen right now. And here's another story. Brittany Mejia put this out and said, during a Border Patrol operation outside of Cypress Park, Home Depot yesterday, agents detained a U.S. citizen they accused of assault. The agents drove off with this 1-year-old daughter in the backseat. She's since been reunited with her family. Trisha McLaughlin says, oh, for FF's sake, Brittany. This U.S. citizen left his own child unattended in a car and proceeded to attack law enforcement as they were conducting an operation. He exited his car wielding a hammer and threw rocks at law enforcement as he abandoned his child. He was arrested for assault. During his arrest, a pistol was found in his car. This is reported stolen out of the state of New York. He, as an individual, has an active warrant for property damage. Law enforcement rightly looked over the child until they were in safe custody of a guardian. So once again, another fake story. And here's another one. NBC News put this out. Chicago residents say immigration enforcement is leading to children getting tear gassed. Homeland Security says this is disgusting even for the fake news. Our brave Border Patrol agents were surrounded and boxed in by agitators. Here's the real story. Border Patrol conducted an operation that resulted in the arrest of a criminal illegal alien from Mexico who was previously been arrested for assault. During the operation, Border Patrol agents were surrounded and boxed in by a group of agitators. Federal law enforcement issued multiple lawful commands and verbal warnings, all of which were ignored. During the operation, 2 U.S. citizens were arrested for assaulting and impeding a federal officer. To safely clear the area after multiple warnings and the crowd continued to advance on them, Border Patrol had to deploy crowd control measures. Our officers are facing a 1,000% increase in assaults against them. Smears like this from NBC News are adding fuel to fire. It must end. Why don't they do a little bit of research before they put out these stories? Why? Because they're the fake news. That's why. They don't want to do that. And let's just think about this for a second. And this reminds me of the pandemic. Remember, during the pandemic, if it was truly a pandemic, all the homeless people would be dead on the streets. You would see flatbed trucks picking them up because it was so deadly. Remember, these people have compromised immune systems. You had tons of homeless people, especially in LA and many other places. And a lot of these people are older people. These people would have been dead on the streets. Did we see anything like that? If we did, they'd be reporting it like crazy. Think about it. If the ICE agents or CBP, if they're actually committing crimes, if they're really kidnapping these people, if they're committing felonies, what do you think these people would be doing in these different cities? The mayors, the police, the congressmen. They'd be filing police reports for kidnapping, for felonies. They'd be seeking prosecution. Do you see anything like that? No, because they don't have a case. It's not real. It's fake. All the stories are fake. That's how you know in the end. It's all BS. Let's talk about being prepared. Ever since COVID, millions of Americans have started buying preparedness supplies, especially emergency food, and that's a good thing. But there's a big mistake most people make with their emergency food supply. They don't have any way to cook it in a real...
Right,
Let's take over from Dave. Yeah. Yeah, I could hear you in the background too, munching. I think what are you eating today? Welcome to Q School, everybody. Sorry, we're running a little bit late. Tim 17 needed a little bit of a nap. I didn't sleep very well last night, so I woke up just before the beginning of Q School. I stressed out my sister Melzie a little bit. I apologize for that, Melzie, but yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. Happy Friday, everybody. November 7th, Lord's Year 2025. Tim 17 right here with my son Matthew Q beside me, and of course we've got our beautiful producer and partner MelzieKaye. How you doing today, Melzie?
I'm doing good. Yep,
Awesome.
doing good.
Awesome, yeah. So today might not be a full-length Q School. Well, maybe we'll see what happens. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about the midterm elections coming up. Hence, the title today is House of Cards. We're talking about the House and the Senate, the midterm elections in 2026, which just coincidentally happened to be on 11.3 next year. Just saying, we've talked a lot about it here in bits and pieces throughout the several months that we've been doing the daytime shows. But as Dave as you alluded to, how important the midterms are next year. We're less than 12 months away, guys, less than a year away from those midterms. And even though we saw shenanigans this past Tuesday night in some Democrat-controlled areas, with some communists and jihadist people winning their positions and whatnot in Minnesota, Virginia, and New York, and a little bit of shenanigans, obviously, in New Jersey, there's still a big piece of this pie that we're going to take a bite into coming next year in the midterms. And we all got to get prepared for it. And we're going to cover a bunch of it today as best that we're just going to use our own research and what we feel is coming. I know Dave X22 reports on the same wavelength that we are, the same frequency or whatever you want to call it. Many others are talking the same way. We're looking ahead. Sometimes you have to look ahead in order to, establish your game plan as far as taking our power back, we the people, Melzie. So yeah, today's title, House of Cards, really fits good. Actually, out of the 22 deltas, the majority of them are talking about the Senate and the House. And so, again, we're going to prove to you that these Q drops are very quantum. So as we go through some of the deltas today, it's going to coincide with some of the discussion we're going to have about the midterm elections coming up. Any thoughts so far, Melzie? And I know we're just getting started here, but
Well, we just talked. We just watched X-22, and Dave talked about, having like, what did he call it? That uh, reinsurrection. So that was an interesting word. I thought. I don't know if that's really a term, but I get what they're saying is there was an insurrection. Now we have to counter it, I guess.
well,
And
counterinsurgency, insurgents.
counterinsurgency, that's it. And so, thinking that we had a coup d'etat, right? So an internal coup d'etat with Obama and with Biden and with Hillary Clinton and all of those folks, right? They came and they got together, and that's where the seditious conspiracy gets together. And because you can create treason just by yourself, but when you get together with others and you do treason, then that's called seditious conspiracy. Um, so that's, I think, what we're seeing. And like, if we allowed it to happen, then we would be basically, then we would, as I understand the Constitution, it would be like we were condoning it, right?
Right.
And we can't allow that to happen. We have to stand for it and go against it. And that's what our president, our POTUS Trump, I think, is talking about in there. And that's what Dave, I think, is talking, that we're going to see action coming against it. But POTUS, in the Q drop says, has to remain, kind of neutral on this. So it doesn't look like he's a dictator either, but we're going to have law and order done.
Yeah, yeah, no, very well said. And basically, like some of the breaking news today, for example, we've talked just in the last couple of days, as Trump mentioned a few days back, about the filibuster. Right? He wants the GOP the senators that are in the Senate right now. Obviously, the government's still shut down. 38 days. Here we are, day 38.
Yep.
Record. It looks like we're probably going to hit the 60-61 barrier, which obviously is a good thing. It's not good right now because a lot of people are getting stressed out. The money's not going where it should be going and things like that. But just keep in mind, this is the Democrats doing. It's not the Republicans. I mean, they've been trying to pass the CR to reopen the government, but the Democrats have a roadblock. They're saying no go, right? And when people, like, maybe it's going to take a couple more weeks for them to realize that, hey, they've already had 14 attempts at reopening the government, and all 14 the Democrats have simply refused to reopen the government because they want $1.5 trillion sent to all their slush funds everywhere, right? Which is part of their money laundering system, right? So they're panicking too. I mean, they're running out of money. Not only are unfortunately, some of the innocent people out there not getting the funds that they rightfully deserve, but we're also at the same time starting to open up this can of worms that I wonder how much of that money that was going out to illegal immigrants, like that's what they're behind the scenes. This is all the things, all the moves and counter moves that they're trying to figure out. If you got 42 million people on the SNAP program, and we saw that chart, we showed that chart earlier this week, Melzie, where it showed Afghan was the 58% of Afghanistans are on the SNAP, and like you look at there was Afghan, Iraq. There was Haiti in there. There was Somalia in there, and big percentages of that. Those, I don't know if they're all illegal, but I would say a good chunk of them are still illegal immigrants in the United States of America, who are getting the funds from we the taxpayers' money through the SNAP program. And
I know. That's the crazy part about it. And that's what I think I love about this movie, is that we do get to find out those things that we never knew and are really important, right? So, like, who would have thought that all of our money is going to that? And without that, we would have just, oh, well, he's just taken away our food stamps, right? We wouldn't have known the truth behind it. And, that there's not just, like the people that, I think the homeless fund was like over $900,000 ago for one person, but they didn't do anything with that money, right? Where would that money have gone? And it was, here's what, $25, or they give them, I don't know, maybe $100 for food, maybe a month if they're lucky. That's just insane, isn't it? So when we realize the depth of the corruption, it's going to be painful. But it has to be done. And I think that this is a surgical part where, remember where Trump said that that we went through the surgery, but the patient lived. And it feels like maybe we're going through another kind of surgery here again moment, in with the shutdown, because and it's necessary because we have too much overspending in government, period, but all the fraud that was with it. And how do you show the people that, and how do you shut it down without them going crazy?
Yeah, that's true. So just to add a little bit of sugar to the cereal bowl of information here today, because what we want to do is we want to all prepare and gear up for the midterm elections. Okay, like I said, we're less than a year away from that. So time's flying, folks. I don't know if you realized, like a lot of us are losing track of time because what day is it, Melzie? I'm not sure. I know it's a Friday, but I mean, time is just swooshing by so quickly, and those midterm elections are going to come in a snap. And I really believe that that's the target. Like the Senate is the target, but the House also, but more importantly, the Senate. And we're going to explain some of the reasons why. And I did pull up some information, Melzie, but just to put us in present day this morning, some of the main headlines that came out this morning. I've got it. I don't know if you can go to Diggers and pull up these articles, Melzie. If you're able to do that? John Thune is willing to give the Democrats all the things they want in the latest negotiations to end Schumer's shutdown. That was a headline this morning, folks. That means that the Senate GOP, these rhinos they're potentially going to succumb to the Democrats and give them their wishes. We don't want that. Oh, we got it.
Hold up. I'll be right back. Hold on. Where we go?
Yeah,
there we are.
How come we're getting echoed?
That's weird. I think it's because I turned the. Hold on a second. Let me just stop sharing screen.
Okay.
It's because I shared the audio with it. So.
Right.
Let's try again.
Okay. Yeah, just take the audio off because I brought up some Wikipedia stuff too that we can. I'll probably get you to do a little bit of reading today. Obviously, I know I hogged all the reading yesterday. I felt bad afterwards. I thought, oh shit, I never let Melzie read any Q drops. So today you can.
I know. I love reading. Here, let's see if we can get. I don't know if I can get any closer with mine, unfortunately. And I'm gonna get my tea I just made. So just give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. So what I'll do in the meantime here is let me just read through what the headline is on this article here. So it says John Thune willing to give the Democrats all the things they want in the latest negotiations to end the Schumer shutdown. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, a Republican from SD. Where's that SD?
South Dakota?
South Dakota. Yeah, he's from South Dakota. Declared he's willing to give Democrats all the things they want in a desperate bid to end Chuck Schumer's government shutdown, now dragging into its 37th day. Actually, it's day 38. So that article's a little off. But here's the thing. The boss, 41020 DJT, Q plus, Donald J. Trump, the president of the United States, wants his GOP senators to get rid of the filibuster. And we explained that yesterday because right now, in order for the Republicans to do the common sense will of the people, because we voted for Trump, gave him a mandate to fix this effing country once and for all, get it in the right direction. Well, because of the Democrats' wall, the big succotash that they take and all the evil doings that they do, they're not allowing it. And unfortunately, the Senate right now with the filibuster in place needs a minimum of 60 votes in order to pass any new regulations or laws or anything of that sort, or even open the government for that matter. That's the deadlock we're at right now. But if all the GOPers got on board and had a simple majority vote, they could remove the filibuster, even if it was temporarily, like maybe do it up until the midterm elections next year, for example, right? Take the walls down now, remove the filibuster. Now all they would need is 51 votes to pass any kind of new law, regulation, or legislation or whatever that Trump wants to. Like, for example, let's remove mail-in voting. Let's go to paper ballots, voter ID. That's a simple one, and that's a good one because that's leading in towards the midterm elections, right, Melzie?
Mhm.
But these stupid rhinos are roadblocking Trump, especially after he fed them for breakfast the other morning. We played that for you, Melzie. It's like we need to primary some of these rhinos, obviously. Like, we really got to clean up the House and the Senate, and that's going to happen. Now, we're going to find out who's who in Whoville. We're finding out very quickly. So if you just scroll down, that's one article, Melzie. Scroll down to the next one. Below that, below this article, it says, this is all this morning, guys. It says Senator Ted Cruz confirms the votes are not there to end the filibuster as Trump pushes GOP senators to act before Democrats do. Because what Trump is saying, and he makes a whole lot of sense. Now, here's the thing. I mean, behind the scenes, Trump is saying if we don't remove the filibuster, eventually when the Democrats take power, they will. But I really believe that the Democrats won't be in power for at least minimum the next 2 decades, if not 3, if this is done right. If we do it right now, and you're seeing the collapse and the internal fighting and the demolition of the Democrat Party before our very eyes. So the timing of this is pretty cool, right? Now, maybe they won't be able to remove the filibuster now because of the stupid rhinos that are standing in the way. Not the Democrats would never go for that. They won't go for it while the Republicans have the majority, obviously. But if they ever became majority, that filibuster would be gone like that. And that's what Trump said. They would turn this country right upside down again, and they would make it the worst it's ever been. So should they or shouldn't they remove the filibuster? I say, yeah, hell yeah, remove the filibuster. Let the new policies come forth. Let's start cleaning up the voter stuff, especially going into the midterm elections less than a year from now. But there's a couple of rhinos roadblocking it. And I'm thinking now, like, you think about Ted Cruz, like, what's he all about? Why isn't he fighting the fight that Trump's fighting? This is what we have to keep our eyes on. And I forgot to mention yesterday, Melzie, and we should have said it loud and proud, and everybody involved within Q School and in our community, everybody should be lighting up their effing phones. All these senators, these GOP senators who are supposed to represent we the people, are not following the will and the wishes of we the people. So therefore you go deet, 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 and you start calling them. You bug them, tell them, get rid of that filibuster and let's get some proper common sense rules and laws into place. Because all we need is a simple majority of 51 votes in that case. Right now, we're stumped. We can't do anything. Anything you want to add to that, Melzie?
Yeah, I think that it's really setting stuff up, like you said, for the future, for the midterms and what's to come, because it's been unfair and it's tipped the hand unfairly in the House of Cards, right? So it has to be created to have a level playing field, and I think that that's part of it. So, we may not get, like, I don't know how this will play out. I don't think any of us do with the shutdown. So, but I think that this is a piece of them trying to move forward with something that's up and coming.
Yeah.
And that would be midterms, right?
Yep, exactly. So if they can't do it, let's say they can't get the filibuster through in less than a year from now, they'll definitely, after the midterms, I'm going to call it a supermajority. We're calling it the red tsunami, and I've got my reasons for that. And it is based on Q drop. There's a particular Q drop that asks the question, red wave or red tsunami, ? And it refers to the 11.11, which is the Law of War Manual, right? And when you read the Law of War Manual and the cleanup procedure that's taking place militarily speaking in all these Democrat-run cities, and if all these so-called, well, they are not so-called, but they are so-called, the criminal syndicate, the Democrat Party, many of them obviously are guilty of all kinds of sedition, treason. What's the 18 U.S. Code 241 and 242, Melzie, you talk about a lot? What's that one again?
The deprivation of color of law.
Yeah, that one there. I mean, that one's really standing out at me right now. So let's just say that the House of Cards, and the title today, House of Cards, it has multiple meanings. One is the House and the Senate. The other one is is basically cleaning our house, which is the United States of America, getting rid of the corruption. And if all of these, a lot of these so-called House of Representatives or senators are involved in any kinds of shenanigans, which we all know there's probably, as Q says, 70%, it's in the Q drop, 70% are corrupt. If they're all wiped out, taken out, what happens? It cleans the slate, right? It's a brand new, clean, open, freshly painted walls house. And Senate for us to fill the void, fill the gaps. And I think that's where we're heading. And if that happens, then they can easily, on day one after the midterm elections, remove the filibuster then. If they can't get it done now until the midterms, which it looks like they're not going to, even though Trump's going to keep fighting for it, keep pushing for it, maybe they have to make some deals behind the scenes with some of these rhinos. Because obviously we have it all, right, Melzie? And the Q drops, they have everything on everyone, right? We've got the goods on everyone. So when push comes to shove and Trump comes and has a little private meeting with a couple of these rhinos that are putting up the roadblock to getting rid of the filibuster, he's going to say, well, now that you mentioned that, why don't you take a look at this file? Just file across his desk and say, why don't you take a little peek ski at what we have on you? Do you want this to come out into the public, or are you going to play ball with us and do the right thing? And I think we're going to see some of these moves and counter moves over the next several weeks, folks, while the government remains shut down. And I don't believe that John Thune's going to get away with giving the Democrats everything they want, because, I mean, everybody will lose their minds if that happens. If they give the Democrats what they want, which is more slush fund money going everywhere, taxpayers' dollars, I mean, you're going to see a lot of people lose their minds, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. That's
and it's a smooth transition to power, you know, instead of it being like, because if they had a coup d'etat where they came in and you know, back when Obama was president or whatever, whenever, and tried to overthrow the government, many people would have died. And this is different, so that it's a transition. We've learned, we've woke up, we've taken, instead of the victim mentality, the victor mentality. So we're going to do something about it and look at our own part in it and then move forward in healing. And so I think that if, you know, and then we'll enter into those seats is what I'm saying. So the smooth transition, you know, if we had gone in and did coup d'etat, there would be a void, right? There would be a void, and it would be devastating economically and spiritually and physically. So this, I think, has been the best way, even though it's not the way I would have chose. I would have been like, go chop their heads off. And I mean, seriously, like I think that we all have felt that way, and thank God we have good generals and people at the helm of this that are stable geniuses, I believe.
Yeah, good point. Now, just scroll down one more post, Melzie, and then we'll get into the Wikipedia search that I did in regards to the upcoming midterm elections, how many seats will be available according to the stats as we sit here today on November 7th. So in this one here, speaking of rhinos, this Rand Paul from Kentucky, he's a Republican, but he's been a freaking roadblock for everything that Trump's ever wanted to do almost from day one. This guy is a scumbag and needs to get he's got to go. So anybody that lives in Kentucky, he needs to be primary. We're talking about primary, not only the open seats that are going to be available, which there's 33 new Senate seats, and we're going to read that. I'll get Melzie to read the next article for you guys, and we'll break it down. We'll go through it. But coming into the midterms, there's going to be 33 Senate seats available for re-election. That's a lot, folks, out of 100. And what do we need for a supermajority, Melzie? We need 67, correct? 67?
I don't know.
A supermajority in the Senate is 67 votes. When you have a supermajority in the Senate and even a simple majority in the House, you can go through with all kinds of impeachments, all the activist judges we talked about, all these corrupt Obama, Biden, Clinton judges that were installed by those past presidents, okay, because that's part of the process in the Constitution. You know, the president gets to put in his or her officials into those positions. Well, they loaded them up with all kinds of activist judges, and we're seeing them all popping their heads up over the last several months, right? They were trying to block from doing this, doing that. So and that's the big list that we're like, even Melzie, I've got that file going on in your on Telegram. I mean, I'm loading that sucker up. There's got to be 50, 60 judges in there by now. And every day there seems to be a new one popping their freaking ugly little head up above the blades of grass for us to say, okay, there's another one. So when you got super majority in the Senate, that's 67 votes, folks, out of 100. 67 is the majority, super majority, I should say. Then all the investigation, all it takes is the House to start the investigation process to an impeachment. The impeachment is then passed from the House to the Senate. And then the Senate, it does all the investigative work towards the official impeachment. And then the House acts as a jury in that particular case. I was doing my homework there before this session. So it's really interesting how they do the impeachment process. And then after, it's almost like a mini trial. Okay, you got the House involved, you got the Senate involved. And then once the little mini trial is done based on this, let's say, so-called activist judge, they'll put them up one at a time, right? One at a time. You're gone, you're gone. Well, the Senate goes to a vote. And if the vote goes to 67 or higher, that person is impeached. And and then after that, not only are they impeached, but they're removed from their position. So that's by law. That's according to the Constitution, folks. And I think that's where we're heading. And the reason I'm saying we're heading there, and I think that's what Trump and the White Hats have the plan in order for us, we the people, to take our power back. We have to do it, as Q says, it has to be done according to the law. Mm-hmm. So knowing that, as we learn who our rhinos are, who our roadblocks are, going into the midterms. Now, if you scroll down to the next link, and this one you can bring up full screen, Melzie, and I'll get you to read this one, and we'll take our time with it. Yeah, right there, the Wikipedia one. Let's bring that up full screen, and let's see, based on today's statistics, where we're heading into the midterms, what's available, how many seats are available, where they're from, and all of that. So let's bring that up on the screen. And you're going to see how this information actually blends in with some of today's Delta Q drops, from 2017, 2018 specifically. But go ahead, sister, when you're ready. Let's read this from stem to stern slowly, and let's pick it apart. And let's start thinking. Think ahead. Think midterm elections. Think supermajority in the Senate, and at least the minimum majority in the House. But even leaning towards a supermajority in the House. Because if you have a supermajority in the House and the Senate, the whole world wakes up now, because not only can you pass all your laws, rules, regulations, to turn executive orders into law of the land, you can actually make amendments to the Constitution of the United States, folks, with a supermajority in both the House and Senate. The only other way is to get 38 states involved, and then you'd have to work with all 38 states. That would be a longer process. But obviously, if it was a super wipeout, a super red tsunami next year in the midterm elections on 11.3, supermajority House, supermajority in the Senate, game over. You'll never see another Democrat in power ever, ever, ever again. I mean, you want to talk about going full steam ahead in the right direction based on common law and law of the land, back to the original Constitution, making this country right again from the beginning of the founding fathers and moving forward for the next 250 years. This is how it's going to be done.
All right. So the 2026 United States Senate elections are scheduled to be held on November 3rd, 2026, with 33 of the 100 seats in the Senate being contested in regular elections. In these elections, voters will elect candidates to 6-year terms that begin on January 3rd, 2027 and expire on January 3rd, 2033. Senators are divided into 3 classes whose terms are staggered so that a different class is elected every other year. Class 2 senators were last elected in 2020 and are up for election in this cycle. 2 special elections are also scheduled for November 3rd, 2026. One will be held in Ohio to fill the remaining 2 years of former Senator J.D. Vance's unexpired term following his resignation to become Vice President of the United States. And one will be held in Florida to fill the remaining 2 years of former Senator Marco Rubio's unexpired term after he resigned in 2025 to become United States Secretary of State. With the election of John Thune as the leader of the Republican conference, this will be the first election year since 2006 in which Republicans are not led by Mitch McConnell, who is retiring at the end of the term.
Oh, that's so big. That's huge right there. Just think of that. You get the turtle out, okay, because he's been a roadblock. He's been up against Trump since day one. I mean, we're going back 10 years now, like almost 10 years, right? It'll be, since he came down the escalator, Mitch McConnell, he's embedded with China. His wife actually runs a big shipping company out of China. I mean, it's so unbelievable. But anyway, yeah, the turtle's gone. So we don't have to worry about him no more. He's gone. He's gone.
Right. The turtle's gone.
Turtle's
Okay,
gone.
so all 33 Class 2 Senate seats and 2 Class 3 seats are up for election in 2026. Class 2 currently consists of 20 Republicans and 13 Democrats. If vacancies occur in Class 1 or 3 Senate seats, additional special elections could be scheduled for November 3rd of 2026. Democrats are defending 2 seats in states won by Donald Trump in 2024, in both cases by less than 3% points. Michigan, where incumbent Gary Peters is not running for re-election, and Georgia, where the incumbent is John Ossoff, I don't know how to say that. Michigan elected Democrat Elise
Slokin's an ex-CIA,
Slotkin.
by the way, and she was the one that Serial Brain 2. Remember LK Dark to Light, Serial Brain 2, the Cult 93 series? She was the one that was brought front and center by Serial Brain 2 as a CIA agent. Yep, she was she was installed by the CIA. That one.
Wow. To the Senate in 2024 by 3% points. Georgia did not have a Senate election in 2024, although in most recent Senate election in 2022, Democrat Raphael Warnock won by 3 points in a runoff.
In a stolen election, just saying. That was all shenanigans back then.
5 incumbent Democratic senators represent states won by Kamala Harris by single-digit margins in 2024. New Hampshire's Jean Shaheen, Minnesota's Tina Smith, Virginia's Mark Warner, New Jersey's Cory Booker, and New Mexico's Ben Ray Lujan. I think that he might be related to the governor, the Lujan. Shaheen and Smith are not running for re-election. Susan Collins' seat in Maine is the only seat being defended by a Republican in a state that Kamala Harris won in 2024. Republican Tom Tillis of North Carolina is retiring from
another one.
Senate.
That's another one that's gone. Another rhino. See ya. So there's about 3 or 4 I just counted. Keep carry on.
Won by Trump in a single-digit margin in 2024. The 2026 Senate map is considered favorable to Republicans. In this cycle, Democrats are defending 13 seats, while Republicans are defending 22 seats. The makeup of the seats up for it's weird. For re-election means that Republicans are heavily favored to retain their Senate majority. Only 2 Republican-held seats are considered competitive by most rating groups, and Democrats need to flip a minimum of 4 seats to win a majority. Furthermore, 2 to 4 Democratic-held Senate seats are considered vulnerable. But by mid-2025, with Democrats landing their preferred recruits for potentially competitive races and the national environment changing, it was reported that the Senate map was looking for better Democrats. Okay.
Yeah, so in a gist, and we can read on a little further too. It looks like a little more detail. I haven't gone that far down into the article. But just look at some of the rhinos that are like we have to track resignations, right?
Yeah.
We have to look at okay, so the full makeup of the Senate is 100 seats. There's 100 seats. 33 are up for grabs. 22 are Republicans, which are landslide. I mean, we're guaranteed the 22. Now it's the other 13, right? And we already have 53. So if you look at the breakdown of the Senate, if we're going to hit a supermajority, all we need to do is flip those 13 Democrat seats in the midterm elections to gain our supermajority. That's it. That's it. And that won't be including, now listen, like what happens if some of these Senate Democrats get entwined in the conspiracy, treason, sedition, this, that, and everything else in the meantime, because the investigations are ongoing. We have panel grand juries all breaking up throughout the United States right now. These investigations are coming out hard and heavy. John Solomon just came out, said there's going to be well over 150 subpoenas from grand juries being sent out in the next couple of weeks, folks.
Nice.
150. Yeah, I think I have that in here too. I think there it is right there. Yeah. So I've got a video we can play just to give you. So what I'm thinking, you guys, is if we do this right, we have one shot. It has to be done right. We have one crack at it, as Q says. Has to be done according to the law. Now, according to the law, the Constitution, that's the law of the land, by the way, everybody has the right to vote. It's a God-given right to vote. So we all go out and we vote for the midterm elections. We have make it too big to rig. Remember the too big to rig thing we just went through on 11? Remember the 5th of November? The boss back into the playground, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So we really proved that there's enough of, and Q says there's more of us than them. So bottom line, all we got to do is encourage each other day after day, week after week, month after month, leading up to the midterm elections to get involved. And I don't mean get involved just by voting. That should be a dead right given. Everybody's got to vote. And the military and Trump administration version 2 is expecting us all to go vote. Every single one of you. Nobody's sitting on the sideline for this one. Then in the meantime, they're going to do some of the heavy lifting and the work with the help of a lot of patriots, by the way, cleaning up the census, cleaning up the voter rolls, eliminating the mail-in vote system, right? That's all being chopped up and thrown into the wind like 1,000 pieces, like JFK said about the CIA. That stuff is being taken care of slowly and genuinely behind the scenes as we march forward towards the midterm elections. So by the time we get there, now hopefully they flip this filibuster thing. I don't know how the fuck they're going to do it, excuse my French, but if they can get it done, one of the main things Trump said, and we played that video for you yesterday, is that they want to clean. They want to go to paper ballots with voter ID. Like how many Q drops yesterday? We talked about the voter ID thing. Melzie, I mean, it was in yesterday's Deltas. So if we can get that all done prior to the midterm elections, right? We're seeing all of the illegal immigrants either self-deporting or being booted out because they're embedded like little ticks that they are in most cases, especially the criminal ones. But they are all illegally here within the United States. And yes, they have voted in prior elections, folks, including the ones that we just saw this past Tuesday night. I mean, a large portion of them were illegal immigrants that got their vote in through the mail-in voting system, which is full of ripe with fraud. So let's say we clean all that up. That's all gone. We just wash it away, Melzie. What do we got left? We got a lot of patriots like you and I and all our brothers and sisters here in Q School and all throughout the United States of America. And they're hungry. They're chewing at the bit. And they want to make sure that their vote counts. And if the Trump version 2 comes out prior to the midterm election, says, hey, guess what, guys? By law, they can no longer use mail-in voting. By law, there's no more voting machines. By law, all the illegal immigrants have been taken off the voter rolls. So we have a pure election. And guess what, guys? We're having it on one day, and you get your paper ballot, and you have to show voter ID. What do you think would happen in that midterm election, Melzie?
I think that we'd be taking America back.
in a big way, in a huge
Yeah.
way. They're like the Democrats right now. The only way they've been able to remain and stay in power, and we're talking about the senators and the House members and all the other little schmucks, the governors and the AGs and that. It's because of the illegal voting systems that they've been using.
Yes.
You remove all that, folks, and they got nothing left. Because they've been using the illegal immigrant base for that. They've been using the mail-in voting system for that. That's how they've won their so-called elections, and they're just ripe with fraud. Once that's all gone, folks, there's more of us than them. We take full power back, and we vote in who we believe to be America First candidates. Whether they run in a Democrat area or not, because if there's not enough Democrats voting anymore, and don't forget, the Democrat Party right now is being split in half amongst
they are.
communism, socialism over here, especially with that Mamdani guy, and then you got your regular middle of the road Democrats over here, and they're all shaking their heads, going, "What the hell's going on?" So they're in shambles. They really are. And
Yes.
don't listen to the news, because the news is fake news. The news is just an extension of the Democrat Party, and they're going to tell you what they think you should be looking at. Look over here, not over there, kind of thing. And we're saying, no, F you. We can see it. We see it right in front of our eyes that Democrat Party is being wiped out every single day. They're losing more and more power. They're losing more and more voters. And of course, more and more illegal immigrants that we get out of here. And one more thing too, Melzie, all the polling stations, boom, 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 and all these main elections, right, for the midterms. What if there's ICE agents, or let's say National Guard people kind of hovered around the polling stations? Just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's a high probability. So, Trump ain't playing.
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
So, if I was someone that was illegal in this country, I'd rethink my positioning. Maybe take that exit pass that Trump gave him, because, Trump gives everybody the chance to do the right thing.
Yes.
Right?
Very good
And
point.
so this is kind of your chance to do the right thing. Next time it's going to hurt, the removal. And it ain't going to be fun. And you're not going to get no $1,000. And you might be detained for a while. So I don't know. If
And
I was you,
the big thing is they'll never be allowed to come back.
No.
Because 1.5 million, believe it or not, with the system they have in place, by law, 1.5 million illegal immigrants are allowed to come into the United States through the proper channels. That's 1.5 million per year. That seems to be a handable number that they've come up with, right?
Mhm.
But when Joe Biden opened the borders and 20 plus billion came in 4 years, that blew that all the smithereens. I mean, that's way past 1.5 million. And they didn't come in the proper channels. They just they were flown in, they were bussed in, it was like a major flood. It's like somebody
They were ruining all their flip flops.
Yeah, so
Lots of flip flops blown.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, that's a crazy thing to think about too. They didn't come here in flip flops. They didn't come here because, what their reasoning, what was their reasoning? There wasn't war in their country necessarily. It's because they got a bus ticket here or a plane ticket here from a special interest group. And we probably paid for it.
Oh yeah, big time. That was part of that was the Democrats' voting base right there. That was the new voting base, because they saw the writing on the wall, Melzie, many years ago, especially when Trump came down the escalator. That's when they panicked big time. They said, "Holy shit, how are we going to do this?" They looked way ahead too, right? They play the long game, folks, and they knew they needed their illegal, like those Delta drops we read yesterday, point exactly word for word almost what they did and what they continue to do, right? Remember when it talked about MS-13, illegal immigrants, vote was in parentheses, vote. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. So very, very valuable information. So I'm going to share the screen, Melzie, if you allow me to. And
can you let me see right here? There we go.
Thank you. Yeah. So what I'll do here is I'll get queued up for you so you can read a few more. We'll read some of these Q drops, because it's funny. We'll bounce back and forth, but the information that we're going over today, which is basically really setting our sights and our focus and our mission on getting involved in our election process at the local level to build up towards the midterm elections on 11.3 in 2026. Okay. So let's go with, let's make sure I got the right ones here. Yeah. So there's 22 deltas. We're not going to read them all, but we're going to read a few of them because they do kind of smack this conversation. So, Melzie, you want to read can you see that on the screen, sister? Or do you want
Yep. Okay. We got what we needed. Thank you, Thank you, Patriots. Senate means everything.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Okay. What did that say?
Senate means everything.
Yeah. Think judges.
Mm-hmm. SC, so is that Supreme Court?
Supreme Court judges, yeah.
In cabinet, D-class overrides all potential House blockades.
Yes. So just keep in mind, the Senate has more power than the House as she goes through this Q drop. This is something that a lot of people might not have known. Even though there's more House members than Senate members, there's 435 House members, I think it is 430. It's in the 430s, and there's only
the House members is Congress.
What's that?
Congress are the House members.
That's correct. Yeah. So, but in like each one has a role to play in the U.S. Constitution. But the Senate has the most power amongst the two of them. But they're more powerful when they work together, obviously. But if they never work together, then the Senate overrides or overrules most of what the House does. The House is kind of almost like a guide. We want you to go here, look at this, look at that, and then the Senate digs in and does. Let's say the House scratches the surface. The Senate goes down the rabbit hole. Let's put it that way. They have more power, more strength. Carry on, sister.
All right. POTUS has ultimate authority. Shift to Senate judiciary oversight from House to now occur. Stronger position and held in reserve for this scenario. Lower chamber House used as 2-year starter. Upper chamber Senate will be used next 2-year closer.
Right. Okay, so what I can do, let me see if I can pull up Melzie. Let me go here. Let me see what this is. Let me see if I don't want to miss anything here with these embedded links. It doesn't look anything. Is that showing on the screen right now?
Not, and
okay, but it's not coming up, whatever. It's just a blank page right now. Okay. Carry on reading, sister.
All right. Military planned. No impact ongoing investigations. Team is stronger and kill brackets pro.
Yeah, and that means, and that's signed by Q. The pro means pro-Trump, okay? So right now, what we're living through and what we're witnessing is there are some rhinos in there that are unfortunately not pro-Trump. They are against Trump, right? And that's where we need to clean up the Senate more importantly than the House. So let's carry on. Let's see if we can learn some more from the Q drops of today. These are November 7th, 2018. So we're going back. These are 8-year deltas, or 7 years, sorry, 7-year deltas, guys. You want to talk about quantum. All right.
All right. There you go. Do you believe in coincidences? Which 2 House members ran the investigations, DOJ/FBI, etc.?
Okay, let me go on this link here. So this is Goodlatte and Gowdy. Page not found. Unfortunately, we can't get this information out to you, but it was Goodlatte and Gowdy that did the House investigation. The Senate has a deeper investigative role than the House does, but the House basically kickstarts it. But carry on.
Okay, Gowdy resignation. What role did he play House investigations? House Oversight and Government Reform Committee Chairman Goodlatte. What?
Goodlatte, yeah.
Goodlatte?
Yeah.
Resignation? Wow, that's a weird name. What role did he play House investigations? House Judiciary Chairman, House Senate, Trust Grassley.
Yes. Now, when you see the House with the arrows pointing to Senate, that means that information through the investigation of the members comes from the House, goes to the Senate. And there seems to be 3 different times this investigation went to the Senate. And in the Senate sits Grassley. Grassley is the investigative power of the Senate, continues to be actually to this day, and hence why Q says trust Grassley, because what does Q
Wow.
say? We have it all.
Thank you for that, Tim.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Senate Judiciary Chairman, and then Kilbrackett's House of Cards. Oh,
There's our title, House of Cards.
military planning at its finest. Q.
Yeah, so that gave me goosebumps right there when you read that. So trust Grassley. He's always been the Senate Judiciary Chairman, which means they have it all. How do they have it all? They have it through obviously the House investigations, but where do the investigations and the information or the intelligence, where does it come from? Through military intelligence, folks. They've had everything on everyone for a long, long time. And what the House does, and what the House does and the Senate, but mainly the House. And that's why you have even current day, Melzie, you're seeing Jim Comer, who plays a big part in most of these, when they're hauling people in through subpoenas. Remember we had all those people lined. We were talking months ago in the summer months about like Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton behind closed doors. You had all these different people coming in talking about Epstein, for example. The reason they bring them in through subpoena, or like they ask them to come in nicely, but if they don't come in nicely, they send subpoenas out. So when they come in and it's a closed door session investigation, what they're doing basically is they're getting information on file, on record. It has to be on record because it's part of an investigation. And that investigation material on record can be easily handed to not only a senator who's like Grassley doing their own investigations behind the scenes, also getting military intelligence, but if they get enough of this enough information on record on file, it can go to any impaneled grand jury in the United States of America for the real unsealing of indictments, folks. This is the buildup. This is massive. Like what we're seeing right now.
There's a Q post that says, "How do you introduce evidence?"
Yep.
This could be a way too, right? That it's been collected in a different way, maybe.
Exactly. And it's going to be done through an impaneled grand. It has to be done according to law because that's what Q has taught us, right? The law of the land. And judiciary speaking, I mean, unfortunately, we've had a lot of left-leaning versus right-leaning or whatever. Like, when you impanel a grand jury, you got to be careful with your selection and stuff. And it depends on where the grand juries are established. Are they in a dark Democrat blue run area? Because obviously you don't stand a chance against that grand jury because they all hate Trump, right? They all have TDS. But if you do these areas, if you impanel grand juries in, let's say, kind of neutral zones, areas, cities, towns, whatever, then you have more of a purified jury system. The impaneled grand juries become more purified, and it's based on evidence only. And the evidence is collected through the House chamber and the Senate, which is handed off to the prosecutors and their impaneled grand juries for the actual trials. And to answer your question, how do you release information to the public? You do it through trials. And that's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that'll be. Do you think that's like D class? I mean, I believe that we're part of D class, but there's going to be some that aren't going to really see it until that happens. They're not going to, and it's not probably going to be full on D class like the way that people want. It's going to be more because they can't go into the depths of all of it, right? So it'll have to be something that's digestible to the public and the entry level into this. That's what I think.
Well, there's two different kinds of trials too. Don't forget, sister. Again, and again, I'm glad we brought up what's his name there?
Grassley?
No, the guy before him. He's at Fox News now. Gowdy.
Yeah.
You got guys like Gowdy and that, and then you got think about Graham. Okay, Senator Graham. Like to me, I think he's Iron Eagle because he has a military JAG officer background. He's a JAG officer, and he was the one that when he was asking Judge Kavanaugh, because it was the Trump had recommended Kavanaugh for Supreme Court. Hence why Senate was the target back then. They wanted to get Kavanaugh as a Supreme Court justice, okay? And the Democrats hated that idea. They actually went full-blown retarded with this bogus campaign about rape and this and that and everything. Like the Q drops allude to it, right, too, if you read through them. Just look at the Kavanaugh Q drops. It'll blow your mind. But there was an instant when they were doing an investigation through the Senate, and that's their inquiries to the to one of Trump's nominated judges, Supreme Court judges. part of their investigation was the questions, and of course, keeping it on record. That's when they brought up the enemy combatant topic. Remember that? Remember the enemy combatant topic between Graham and Kavanaugh? Because there is a difference between civilian trials and military trials. The military trials, unfortunately, we're not going to hear or know anything about them. But the civilian trials, which I think are more digestible for the public to inhale, to breathe it in, to digest it, whatever you want to call it, versus the military tribunals, because that's the real massive, ugly stuff that went on, right? So behind the scenes, the big dogs. So that's.
So do you think that we're going to see, like with Hillary and Bill going before? Where did they go? Congress, or where did they go and do their?
They're in front of the House. That was the House Judiciary Committee with James Comer and the rest of his team. And all they did was they're trying to find out if they perjured themselves. Like look at the trouble Comey's in right now, and you're going to see Brennan soon. We're going to see Brennan, because there's been subpoenas already sent out about Brennan hauling his ass in, and these are the baby steps. These are the small ones. Like they perjured the House committee. You can't lie to a committee, a House committee, judicial committee, right? Because that's perjury. So that is a federal crime. But it's one of the smaller ones versus the grand old RICO, the full scope conspiracy, sedition, treason scope. So when it comes to civilian versus military tribunals, okay, civilian trials versus military enemy combatants, who decides if they're an enemy combatant? Should it go to the military or should it stay right here with us? That is the jury that was impaneled. The grand jury is the one that decides in a closed like they have to vote on that. That's a voting thing. This is too big for us to handle. Let the military take care of this scumbag. We can take care of this one. Therefore, let's carry on with this civilian trial. That's how that's going to play out.
Wow. So then, when it goes on to the tribunals, the militaries, will we see that, or is that something later on we'll just hear about, do you think?
I think we're going to see drips and drabs of it, but none of the full details, like something you'd see in a full-blown civilian trial, where there's like military tribunals, they won't allow cameras or anything like that. I mean, military doesn't mess around, right?
Right.
Civilian, you're going to have all your different camera people out there, all the different media, and that they're going to try and get all their information. And of course they want to get that firsthand information because they want to spin the shit out of it, right? That's what they're famous for doing. I mean, they're just an extension of the Democrat Party. They're just they're a bunch of activists. They're not reporters. So what they want to do is get information firsthand and then immediately spin it. So, oh no, that's not, Comey's not that bad of a guy. That's a, blah, 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 this and that, like a bunch of bullshit. Meanwhile, we're going, hey, that's a federal indictment, folks. I mean, that's shit. He's going to spend time in prison for that. Civilian speaking. Now, if we get into the bigger stuff, the military enemy combatant stuff, which is treason against the country of the United States of America, that's where the military says, we're not having any of it. Right? Make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
And I think they'd have to do it like they'd have to do a civilian before military, right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the whole process, right? Military planning is finest, as you see on that Q drop right there, right? House of Cards. So it's between the House and the Senate, pre-investigation work. Military intelligence comes through that. Military planning at its finest, getting the right people in the right places at the right time. Then you impanel the grand juries, right? In the civilian atmosphere. And the grand juries are the ones that decide based on this information and investigative work that, whether it was military intelligence or FBI or CIA or whoever, but it's all conglomerated. It's all put on file on record through the House and the Senate. That is handed over to the civilian case. It opens as a civilian federal case, but the grand jury goes, wow, this is bigger than I thought. This has to go to the military. And that's when it becomes an enemy combatant. That's when it becomes military takes over in that particular case.
All right.
Okay, that's what I'm learning through reading the Q drops and understanding the Constitution and the rule of law and things like that. So, do you want to read a couple more drops, sister?
Sure.
Okay.
The Senate. Okay. The Senate was the target. Corker plus Flake removed. Who's that?
There used to be old senators. I'd have to go do a little bit more. They were Republicans, by the way, Corker and Flake. So don't forget, back then the Speaker of the House was Paul Ryan. Don't forget, Paul Ryan just stepped down. Back then, he was being groomed to be the next president of the United States, but for some unforsaken reason, and Kyle he laughs about this a lot. He says, "Why would a man like that, being the like Speaker of the House, leading into the midterms of 2018, would he resign from that position?" Is because obviously he got himself got his hands caught in the cookie jar. That's what we're thinking. So these Senates here, the Senate was the target. Corker and Flake removed, probably because they were deep staters too.
Okay, sure. How do you catch a fish? And fish is capitalized. So why do you think it's capitalized? Do you think it has an acronym?
It's possible, yeah. I'm not sure about that one.
Just thought. Mission forward. These people are stupid.
Cute. But how do you catch a fish? You catch them with bait, right? So what was the bait? I would think like Corker and Flake removed. The next sentence is, how do you catch a fish? You had to use some bait. What was the bait? That's how I would dig on that. That's what I would research on. I would look at Corker and Flake back then, and then what happened? Why did they get removed? What bait did they take? Somebody baited them in somehow, some way. I'm thinking maybe the White Hats to clean the stage. Here's another Delta with DJT. This is from his Twitter account back on November 7th of 2018 at 8:04 a.m., sister.
Wow. So if the Democrats think they're going to waste taxpayer money investigating us at the House level, then we will likewise be forced to consider investigating them for all of the leaks of classified information and much else at the Senate level. Two can play that game.
Yeah. So see how he worded that? So they wanted to go after Trump back then, and using taxpayer money at the House level. Okay. But he said, two can play this game. I'll use the Senate. You go ahead and use the House. I'll use the Senate. What is he telling us? That the Senate has the major power.
Yes. Yeah. He kind of checkmated him a little.
Yep. Yeah. And that could have been a little bait too. Back then, they were baited. Kyle explains it a lot better than I can, but basically the 2018 midterms was like a click and bait or bait and switch or however that terminology works. And I think that was part of the bait. Like with the moves and counter moves, they made it look like the Republicans were working hard to take the House, power in the House. So what that did is it triggered the Democrats to work even harder to take power in the House. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the Republicans always had their eyes on the Senate, and they took over the Senate. Yeah, it was never done before, and like usually after a Republican wins the election, so Trump wins in 2016. That's when the Democrats were supposed to take the Senate and the House in 2018. The following midterm election. Normally, in the history, most of the history of the United States, that's what's happened. So a Republican wins the presidency, and then 2 years later, in the midterm elections, the opposite party regains power back in the House and/or Senate or both. But what they did by baiting them and tricking them is the Democrats went hardcore on House seats, but forgot about the Senate, and then the Republicans retained their power in the Senate, and which means the House, even though the Democrats had the majority in the House and they wanted to impeach Donald Trump, he was laughing his ass off all the way because he knew that in order to impeach somebody in the Senate, you need 2/3, 67 votes, and they were nowhere near it because the Republicans took the Senate. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are all good lessons to learn, folks, because going into next year's midterm elections, this is the whole ball of wax. This is where we just had a Republican president win. DJT wins the president in 2024. 2026 midterms are supposed to be Democrats, either in the House or the Senate or both. But what we're going to see is not just a red wave, we are going to see a red tsunami. That means for the first time in the history of the United States, we're not only going to take power back in the House and the Senate, we're probably going to take a supermajority, at least in the Senate, if not in the House also.
Wow.
Never been done before.
That puts it into a different perspective too, because I didn't think about that, but that makes sense.
That's what we got to gear up for. I believe that's, and look at this, future proves past. So there's the end of that Q drop, future proves past. So what's going to happen in the future? You know, like Trump's talking about the Senate in this Q drop, future proves past. So what future, Mr. President? Right here. He says at the Senate level, he's going after the Senate time, supermajority in the Senate, so that they can get rid of all these activist judges. They need two-thirds majority, supermajority they call it, in the Senate. And all they need is power in the House. If we can get supermajority in the House and the Senate, God bless the USA, because that means you can change the Constitution now. The amendments of the Constitution can be tracked back and brought back to its original form, and we can straighten this country out once and for all again. First time in 250 years, folks.
And there's an 8-4 too, 8-4 a.m.
Yeah, there it is.
We just had 84 with Cheney.
Yeah, 84. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, nice catch, sister. Nice catch. Okay, what else do we have here?
We have Brother Kyle in the house. I don't know if he's.
What up? What up? How's everybody doing?
Good, Kyle. How you making out, brother?
Good. I didn't get a chance to check in with you guys, but getting a lot done.
Good.
You sound better.
You guys crushed it yesterday.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun talking about the upcoming midterms. The Deltas today, Kyle, are talking about the House and the Senate. The Senate was the target, and we're into this full-blown conversation about like less than a year away. But if you don't mind, could you come on for a second and talk about Ryan? Remember Ryan, the Speaker of the House? Why did he resign? Yeah, Paul Ryan. Can you break that down for? I just covered that topic before you came in, and I didn't do a very good job of it.
Yeah, I found this interesting post that had you were talking about, there's a lot more people that have been the CIA that were in Congress, you know what I mean, than that we know of. So let's see, what post was that? Well, there's this one that I had right here. Let me just do this one. It's kind of long, but I'll try to go straight with it. And then
would that be like a strange interest to be in the CIA and then be in Congress at the same time?
Well,
conflicting interests.
Wouldn't that? Yeah, but everything the CIA is about, wouldn't that be something they'd probably try to do, right?
Probably.
So this is a big one. And it feels like it's going to be coming down the pipe. And even our white knight brother VIP was talking about January 5th or January 6th of this coming terminology thing, or this 2026, Tim, right? Because that's when all the people actually get sworn in, right? So that's where if there was going to be an issue, that'd be addressed, right? Just like that's why January 6th happened, because the people came there, were supposed to show the evidence and stuff. So because there has to be something, and like obviously these things are continuing to be exposed because we physically need to go to our local places and get the voter rolls clean and all these stuff. And I think we need more help and support on that. But at the end of the day, like there's just been rampant fraud. You know what I mean? And the people are sick of it, So to a certain degree, it has to be exposed. But let's do this drop. This is heavy connections with the CIA and also the surveillance that's been happening. And then the way this is worded, it really lets me know that it hasn't happened yet. I was always wondering if this was released somewhere and Anon's missed it. I mean, I still put that out there just in case, but let's see. So 2657, January 6, 2019, 15099. So we got the 5 nines again, the 9 nines, 5 nines. Even 65 is 11, inside of 27 is a 9.
It's 6992 if you do 5 plus 1.
Oh, yeah, nice. Okay. When will the public discover that Ted Cruz was also illegally surveilled pre-POTUS Republican nomination? So before Trump won the nomination, when they were still doing the primaries, they're surveilling Ted Cruz when on FISA's too, right? They said that they were surveilling Trump under this pretense of he was working with the Russians, but this is a major problem that they're doing multiple people, right? So then the rest of it says CIA illegal surveillance and underscore I too, missing the I, their intelligence. C_A illegal surveillance members of Congress, and we just seen that play out multiple times now too, right, Tim? Just 2024. Is there some kind of operation or what was it called?
Jack Smith, and a couple other. Like what they did is they surveilled over 430.
400.
It's over 400 right now. John Sullivan
Jesus.
reported the other day. 430 is the last number they got.
That's crazy. So,
Yep.
and that was 2024 election, right? Or was that 2020?
Yeah, well, that was back from starting back from 2022-ish, right through, like just before they raided Mar-a-Lago, all the way through up until present day.
Okay. And then this is the next thing they were surveilling too is C_A's illegal surveillance members of the press, right? So that would be John Sullivan. That's even like Tucker Carlson, it seems. What's the Fox News guy? Jesse, but the other guy that's like your mainstream Fox, he's been there forever. He had regular Republican talk shows. Space his name, big name guy. C_A illegal surveillance of Senate Intelligence Committee. So here's an article from The Guardian. I want to check this one out real quick. It's 2016 constitutional crisis. CIA turns on the Senate. Ooh, this is interesting. 9 years old. So what is the actual date of that? Then this came out.
And Senate is the target, so there's multiple meetings right. Like there's your multiple meetings right there in the Q drops.
September 10th of 2016. So right before the election here, about a month or so out, 2 months, I guess. So let's see the title.
Hannity's the one you were looking for.
Hannity. Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
That was Dab Brad.
Great. Thank you guys. It's so funny when I can't remember these those certain names. Thanks, you guys. A constitutional crisis. The CIA turns on the Senate. Tensions flare between the CIA and the Senate in the fight to release the report on torture. Ooh, this might connect to Durham, leading the agency to spy on its own legislative overseers. So they've been doing this shit a while. It looks like there it is, front and center. This is who is this? A mainstream article right here, isn't it? Guardian. Support the Guardian's fearless journalism. Yeah, right. Spencer, it was 11 p.m. in the chill of January, but Daniel Jones needed to run around to the Capitol. During the winter of early 2014, Jones' only chance for serenity was these late hours. Why does this feel like a freaking spy novel already? The CIA was demanding his boss, Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Dianne Feinstein. That's the one that had the Chinese spy, was her driver for fucking 20 years. She's also just deep state. She's the one that even seems to be the handler of Murkowski, right? There's the picture of Feinstein poking Murkowski, the corrupt one out here in Alaska, in the chest. So Dianne Feinstein, where she go? The CIA was demanding his boss, Senate Intelligence Chairwoman Dianne Feinstein, fire him, whoever this Jones guy is. Feinstein's Republican colleagues, once supportive of Jones, were demanding he testify. Testimony was treacherous. Sheldon Whitehouse, there's that White House name again. I think it's a different White House, but that's interesting to me. A Rhode Island senator and former federal prosecutor warned Jones that asserting his rights against self-incrimination or seeking lawyers' counsel could give committee Republicans a political lever, there's that leverage shit again, lever against his highly controversial work. The CIA would soon formally insist that the U.S. Justice Department actually prosecute Jones. Still don't know this Jones guy. The Senate staffer, who had devoted over 6 years of his life to investigating the CIA's infamous 9/11 torture program. So this also connects to Guantanamo Bay and the torture stuff we were doing with the inmates there. So let's see. Jones, a former FBI counterterrorism analyst, that's your intelligence arm of the FBI, right? Wanted to testify. The CIA had pushed him past the point where he could back down. Its lies, documented in 6,700-page secret report, which Jones was constantly rewriting that winter, were compounding to Congress, Barack Obama, George Bush, to the press, and to the public. The lies were not random misstatements. They were directional in the service of covering up the brutality of what it did to at least 119 terrorist suspects. So there's a number there, 119. Some clearly innocent and held in a global network of secret prisons. Jones was on the verge of exposing the cover-up as he saw it, the personalized intensity of the CIA's attacks on him, and the unprecedented steps they were taking validated the account he had compiled after combing through over 6 million classified CIA documents. Damn, give this guy a medal. Jones, what's his first name, man, this Jones cat? Daniel Jones. This is in 2016, guys. I've never even heard of this dude. Let's see. Jones put his bows earbuds in, queued up a tragically hip record, and ran. So like really the story writing.
Oh, Tragically Hip, our Canadian band. That's the song I sing.
Right. Yeah, I remember you were playing them. You were there. So this is a long article, so I'm gonna leave it alone. CIA nominal brutal detention, but this connects again the torture stuff that would connect to John Durham, so that's interesting. And then this other article, New York Times, inquiry by CIA affirm it spied on Senate panel. So the same thing. It's like the CIA's been spying on members of Congress for a long time. This is totally out of bounds. That's not okay. Who ordered the surveillance? What justification was provided to authorize surveillance of elected officials? I mean, think about that. That's got to be pretty fucking high up, right? And what justification meaning? That's the evidence you need to present, just like FISA. You're supposed to present your fucking evidence, right? That's like in the movie Snowden. He's like, oh, it's just like a big rubber stamp, dude. And he's like, Chief Justice is Darth Vader, right? Surveillance fall under scope of FISA warrants or internal department or outsized to Five Eyes. So they're asking, could it be all of those? Is it one or all of these? Surveillance falls under the scope of FISA warrant or internal to a department or outsourced to Five Eyes. I don't know. Let's see. Reality check. Friend or foe, we all spy on each other. This is big stuff too. Why all this couldn't be exposed right away, because this would cause world wars too, right? And this is the Epstein stuff, and we're spying on each other, and then we're blackmailing each other. It's all fucked, right? It's a level that's super fucked. That you think you can handle the truth, but you can't, right? The retards are still upset about freaking Trump only solving 8 wars in 9 months and not the 9th one. You know what I mean? It's stupid out here. You think they're ready for this information, but we're getting there. Okay, we're gonna keep helping people understand that. Should we be spying on ourselves? And that's what Snowden exposed, right? That we had more surveillance on American citizens than we did on Chinese citizens and Russia, like separately, each one. You know what I mean? It's like ridiculous. So should we be tasking others to spy on ourselves in order to void the U.S. law? That's what the Five Eyes is, hey, let's tap into the freaking UK's terminal. They can look at all of the Americans. They don't have any restrictions, and they fist fuck each other. Honestly, that's what it is with the spying. You know, it's bullshit. Was Five Eye established and designed by the intelligence community as a back channel surveillance apparatus to avoid domestic law triggers and congressional and Senate oversight? Yes, obviously, that must be what it is, and it's finally making sense to me here too. What key logs exist to monitor Five Eyes intelligence collection? That would be a tippy-top kind of crew situation. What ability do former government officials have regarding ability to access classified level Five Eye offshore data? Okay, this is what Trump had to clean up, is all these assholes had security clearance, even after they left, right? You become an ambassador one time and you're getting this or whatever, you're on this one project.
Well, that reminds us of the 51 intelligence.
Yes,
they're no longer in power, but they came up with the Hunter Biden laptop as Russia, the 51 intelligence officers.
51 intelligence assholes made that shit up, right? I mean, It's just crazy, and this is all part of that. How did Hillary Rotten Clinton gain access to the highest classified special access programs, which is a closed system access? Our most highly sensitive programs are special access programs because they're highly compartmentalized and very, very top secret, and they're only working on one tiny thing. So if somebody has access to that shit, it's a major vulnerability of all kinds of levels to the country. And that's what this bitch did. She granted access to her server to China, and they found the spies that we had embedded there. Some of them for 20 fucking years were being undercover in China, giving us vital information, and this bitch just sold them out for money, and many of them were murdered. You know what I mean? Like legit. And there's an article even on that mentions that.
A bunch of CIA officers were smoked in China.
Yep. How did Hillary Rotten Clinton gain access to the highest classified special access programs, a closed system access, and able to transfer to remote and home server? How was she able to do this shit? This is interesting how it says Q above. Q above should scare every single American. How did China locate primary C_A assets within China 187? That's just what I was explaining. As soon as they had access to her server, that we all of it was CIA guys. Again, there's more good than bad. 99% of good. These were good CIA guys spying for us undercover in fucking China. And she exposed it sold it, and they were murdered. Money buys power. No punishment for Britain. That's coming.
Seems similar. That's similar to Benghazi. The same shit she pulled off with Benghazi. Her and Biden.
That's right. That's right. And I got to understand that better too. That makes so much sense how you put that though. No punishment for Brennan by Hussein admin. Well, because they're both Muslim, hello, or Islamic or whatever it is, regarding surveillance of Senate, etc. Logical thinking. Why? So this is from McClatchy. Let's check this article out. McClatchy, DC, not so familiar. Justice declines. I've seen him before though on the Q drops. Justice declines to pursue allegations. The CIA monitored Senate intel staff. This is 2014, guys. So again, the shit's been happening regularly. You know what I mean? So what are we gonna do about it? Like, how can we keep watching this happen and then not do anything about it? Right? That's our karma. Is we need to fucking do something or
And you had
make sure.
that Feinstein was in that article too.
Yeah,
The
make sure.
China spy driver.
Okay,
Yep.
nice catch on that.
Yeah, bring up the article again. You'll see a picture of her right there. She was part of it.
Pause this thing here. Okay. There. Oh, yeah, right there. Yep. There she is. Nasty, nasty.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, and I knew that she was involved with this. Like, she knew of it, right? The Justice Department has decided not to pursue accusations the CIA spied on Senate Intelligence Committee, and allegations that computer's doing something. That committee staff slipped classified documents through a secure agency facility, McClatchy has confirmed. The department carefully reviewed the matters referred to us and did not find sufficient evidence to warrant a criminal investigation. I bet they didn't. They wouldn't. The news marks an apparent end to a feud that spilled into the public forum in early March over the committee's report on the agency's post 9/11 enhanced interrogation program. Here comes that issue again. The dispute included competing Justice Department referrals with both the CIA and Senate Intelligence Committee accusing the other side of criminal conduct throughout the course of the interrogation study. Okay, so it's all this fucking lawfare and political warfare. What do you call them? Operatives. I like that word, political operatives. Intelligence Committee Chair Dianne Feinstein, Democrat, California. She's been around 40, 50 years. Took to the Senate floor in early March and accused the CIA. Interesting, she's the one accusing the CIA of spying on the computers of her committee staff used to create the study. The CIA accused Feinstein's staff of slipping classified documents from secure facilities and transporting them back to Capitol Hill. That's freaking crazy. The CIA Inspector General's office referred the agency's alleged computer monitoring to the Justice Department. The CIA filed a crimes report against several committee staffers, accusing them of removing classified information from a secure facility. And they raided Mar-a-Lago, and Trump declassified that shit himself. In addition, Harry Reid, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, did he die? Is he alive still?
I'm not sure, but he was involved in, believe it or not, Harry Reid was one of the, speaking of the filibuster, he was part of that. I remember reading that.
Okay.
Part of that filibuster shit.
Yeah, he was a big part of the Democrats, like in the 90s too, and like early 2000. I didn't ever pay attention to politics, but growing up in Nevada, I always heard his name. You know, we heard the name Harry Reid all over the place. Ordered the Senate Sergeant at Arms to conduct an independent investigation into the alleged computer hacking. The fate of congressional investigation is unknown. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Oh, it's almost over. Hold on. So, but it seems that the details of both sides' accusations will never be publicly aired, leaving simmering tensions and a battered relationship. This is gone on way too long, guys. Although fury flooded Capitol Hill in the immediate aftermath of the dispute, the incident seemed to have largely faded from memory despite its enormous potential implications on the constitutional balance of powers. Again, we fell asleep to this shit. The nearly 500-page executive summary of the committee's still classified 6,600 page, I thought it was 6,700 earlier, we should pay attention to that, report is expected to be released in the coming months. The CIA spokesman declined to comment. So anyways, like I said, this shit's been going on a long freaking time. These assholes spying on our politicians and all this other.
Funny, it's funny because it's still kind of quantum because you got the Jack Smith stuff now coming out.
Exactly.
Yeah, it kind of relates to the old.
And at the top of it, it asked about freaking Ted Cruz, and we haven't had that information yet. I've been talking about it a while, and you know how it is on Q School. We start talking about something, Tim. Here it comes. So let's start putting it out there. It's going to get released soon in the near future. They were spying on Ted Cruz in the 2016 presidential election also. Hello?
Speaking of Ted Cruz, he was on this morning with Kudlow and Fox, and Senator Ted Cruz confirmed during an interview with Larry Kudlow of Fox News that Senate Republicans do not currently have the votes to end the filibuster.
Okay, and see, it's going to go 61 days, and then they'll do it, and then it's going to flush the people out for this month that doesn't have the benefits and all that shit. So stand your ground, folks.
Got to be December 1st, too, so we'll keep our sights on December 1st.
Yep. Okay. And then, so this is a complicated post, but I'm just going to keep going through it because I think we're doing a good job explaining what's happening here. Justice Department declines to pursue. Again, that was from the article. Q's asking that question. Fake news media limits exposure to the public because, Tim, what are they? They're the enemy of the people, right? They're there to just prop up the deep state cabal's narrative, right? They're not there for the truth in any way, shape, or form.
Well, they're CIA operatives themselves, right?
Great
they're
answer. That's exactly it. That's who they are. They're fucking all embedded. Okay. Yep. When did Snowden breach the NSA and publicly release cripple the intelligence gathering ability of the NSA? So this was like 2012, 2013, right? NSA targeted. This is the picture that Q paints, but it's really think mirror. We use that as a Trojan horse, poison apple right at you, bitches. NSA targeted. Where did Snowden work prior to NSA contractor accept? That would be the farm at the CIA, but where did he work right before he actually joined the CIA, Tim? Do you know
the
that?
NSA. The NSA.
He worked at the NSA as like a security guard or some shit. We got to do that dig again. So if y'all want to do that in the boop, 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 use your AIs. Is that where did Snowden work? Right, get the biography on him because he went in. We did this whole dig, man. There's 56 freaking Snowden drops. We've done 4+ hour shows on episode 1, and there'll probably be like 50 of them, right? And our friend that was in the military mentioned that like he was going for this really like a special forces type rating in the when he was going in, training camp. I think it's Army. I think it was pretty sure it was Army. And then he gets like injured, right? And even the way the movie did it, nobody like saw him get injured. Anyways, all that stuff doesn't really make sense. But then he winds up working in Maryland, which is where the NSA is, but specifically at the NSA's building, but as like a security guard or something like that, like a special secret service, and that's actually where he's this triple agent. If he's even a real person, right? It's the term Snowden. When you have a hack or a leak in your intelligence agencies, it's everybody gets called in immediately. And if you don't show up, you're a suspect immediately, right? And then you gotta like figure out, patch everything up. It's everybody's snowed in until they figure out how far this information got, how did it get leaked out, who did what is the plan, what's the threat, what's the, all these things. It's a major, major fucking deal, right? So where did Snowden work prior to the NSA? That'd be the CIA farm, but go farther back. What senior level government and CIA officials received or recommended maybe Snowden for NSA contractor? Off-tar position. I forget what this means. Y'all can you maybe you guys look that up too? If you see that, Mel, let me know. It should be simple. It's a military thing. I can't remember what that means exactly, but who recommended him be an NSA contractor? Basically, this would be somebody from the CIA who was setting up the NSA. So we know they're the bad guys, but little did they know Snowden's actually a triple agent. Okay, post public release of classified NSA programs and uranium one's in there. Okay, so after the Guardian released the information, Snowden's supposedly in Hong Kong. Where is Snowden today? He definitely ain't in Russia. What country was involved in uranium one? Russia, but also Canada. Ooh, that's where that bitch is. He's in Canada because Canada's the one. Everybody thinks Russia. No, think mirror. It's Canada. Okay, if real target country was Venezuela, there you go, Mel, or Ecuador, why didn't Snowden take a direct flight from Hong Kong to those locations? And why would he release it first in Hong Kong and you have to go somewhere else? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, how many direct flights run daily from Hong Kong to Venezuela and Ecuador? If Snowden was CIA and NSA, would he not understand simple logic? Going public prior to the in-destination safety would limit active passport travel ability due to block. It's called dereg. You're basically getting your shit shut down. The dereg him, right? Why wouldn't Snowden publicly release info after he'd already was safely at final destination, right? This doesn't make any sense, guys. He goes to Hong Kong, allegedly, gives it to Greenwald and these guys I think they're the Guardian, right? And then they release the information, and then he goes somewhere after that. Again, it's snowed in. Once that shit hits the public scenes, dude, like it's snowed in. Everybody's snowed in. Ain't nobody going fucking nowhere. Snowden ain't checked in, guys. He's not on a flight list, that motherfucker. It don't make no sense, right? So anyways, moves and counter moves. Why then would Snowden route through Russia? This is like basically saying they were trying to spin this whole Russia narrative. They want Russia to be the enemy, Russia, regardless of even Trump, because then we're not going to pay attention to China. And then they can also spin that narrative as their insurance, right? It's always they're colluding with Russia, knowing probably full well that Russia could also bring down the deep state. That's why Trump and Russia are working together. Was Russia final destination? Was Russia true destination? Nobody's ever actually seen Snowden in Russia. Everybody just assumes he's there. No one's ever seen him there. So just FYI. And intuition, Uranium One, he's in Canada. Okay, could at Snowden be seen releasing classified programs and intel from inside of Russia? I don't know that answer, but again, I thought we'd never seen him, so I think that's a no. What role did Brennan play in the at Snowden leaks regarding the NSA? Ooh, we got to find that one out. That's one to dig on right there. What role did Brennan play in the Snowden leaks regarding the NSA? So that first one's in the 2012, 2013 Snowden, because March 7th, 2017, right after Trump got inaugurated, is Snowden 2, Vault 7, Snowden 2. What was Brennan's background regarding Saudi Arabia? Again, he's Islamic or he's a Muslim. Does the CIA, here we go, this is the key part, why I want to read this whole drop, Tim, this connects everything. Does the CIA hold blackmail on political leaders? What do you guys think? Hello? Hugh Hefner, Epstein, that's all CIA operations to blackmail political leaders so they can influence and direct things from the deep state. That's the shadow government, right? Does the CIA protect those who protect them? Of course. Why are ex-CIA contractors running for office? This is congressional office. How many ex-CIA contractors are currently in office? Again, guys, it's a bigger number than we even know. It's going to be like disgusting to find out. And it says, hello, Adam Schiff. Once an agent, always an agent Q. So this shit's coming soon. This is January 6th would be this Delta. This is how all the vote stuff happens when there's fraud and the people get sworn in. This is when the voters would have a rejection or objection. Here's all this evidence. You name it. So we'll see how that plays out in that time frame of things. But that's a big one. And again, when it finally comes out that Ted Cruz was spied on, the whole Russia narrative, it rose immediately. And it already has with Tulsi Gabbard declassifying this. But it's like people just still ignore it because I think people don't understand it or the media just push. I don't get it fully. You know what I mean? But when this comes out, the entire everything, Mueller, everything they try to do on Trump is invalid because they're spying on fucking Ted Cruz too. It's not a Russian thing. These fucking assholes are spying on their political opponents. So anyways, Mel, thanks for letting me stop and read a crazy Q post. I love you guys.
I love you too.
Oh, friends in the chat while Tim's getting his coffee or maybe dinner. Guess where I'm going? Guess where I'm headed? Do fun. Let's classified information. The first hint, it'll be one of the 51 U.S. states.
Ooh. Oh boy, we'll be here all day guessing.
Yeah. So do we have a Delta that you wanted to read, Tim, that you wanted me to read, and then I went off rogue on something on that drop?
I think that you covered it well, like we were talking about something. I can't remember.
Well, we were on today's Deltas. Melzie finished reading the one with the Trump tweet. After that, there's a couple more after that.
22 again today, huh?
Yeah, 22 today, and we're working our way down. And the last one that Melzie read was the one with the Trump talking about the House and the Senate, the difference between the two, the investigations.
Okay, and then you guys probably start on like the lowest number ones, right?
Yeah, we did.
I'm gonna jump like I do. I'm gonna go Q School Mirror on you guys, Tim. I'm gonna go Q School Mirror. We're gonna start on the end. Check this drop out. This is the very last Delta, chronologically for November 2nd, and it's actually one of the very last Q drops that, in general, since we're paused right now until later. 4960, November 7th, 2022. Again, there's not many drops in the 2022 years. Okay, 7:20 p.m. or 19:20:19. So 19:20:19 military time. Check this out, though, Tim. Listening, I like this one. Think about how relevant this is right here, right now. Why do some elections take more than a day to count? If y'all remember, 2024 election, after the night, what'd you say, Mel?
I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Nothing. I was drinking my coffee.
After the first night of the election, they declared Trump the winner, and everybody was like, where's the ballots, right? All of a sudden, Kamala Harris had 15 million less votes than Joe Biden. And about a month later, it comes out, it was like 4 or 5 million. Like, yeah, it's not that bad. It's only 4 or 5. These motherfuckers counted 9 million votes a month after the election. It like took that long. Even like, again, it's so stupid, right? And India has so many people. India has elections of 600 something million people, and they did it in one day with paper ballots. It's everybody, the whole country gets involved with it. It's the whole operation. Everybody gets in there. Everybody counts. Everybody does their part. Everybody checks all the shit. Everybody goes and votes. I'm sure they have the fucking holiday, all the things, okay? They counted 640 something million votes in one fucking day with paper ballots. And California was still counting votes in fucking December. December. Are you kidding me? It's just so stupid. Like we got to get fed up with this shit. You know what I mean? This is crazy, bro. We can't just say, oh, let's vote harder. Like, we need to fucking do something. And it better happen this fucking January, or the start of this process, because this is fucking insane. Why do some elections take more than a day to count? Can cheating be done after the polls are closed? Gee, I wonder. Let's be the last state, guys, in case we know how many votes we need to get. And that was actually, somebody just put out a more recent documentary. It might even be a couple years old, but they're saying they had to match the votes with the ballots because they had like 2 million more votes than they had ballots actually cast, right? And then so they're like racing around to fucking have the ballots match, because then they can do their fucking Houdini shit with the machines, as long as you got the same number of ballots, because if you did an audit, it's going to be wrong. But they're like racing around and pulling the shenanigans, right, to fucking match the votes or the ballots with the number of votes they had counted. It's insane. Okay. Who controls the poll books? I don't actually know that answer. Do you guys? This is stuff we need to learn. You know, I always say this, but I don't know that answer. Anybody in the chat? Who controls the poll books?
I think it's your local legislatures.
Local legislators, and then is there people possibly that are unelected in these situations? Like, can I be like a volunteer and get involved in this, or is it a paid position? I don't know, and I'm going to start trying to pay more attention.
It made me think about Tina Peters, but I don't think that she controlled the poll books, but she controlled something, and then she got in trouble for like she did the right thing, because they came in and they said they were going to do an update, and so she did a backup and then found that they tampered with it, so she saved the evidence, and so
right.
that's why
you know, she
got
arrested for exposing fraud, guys. That's the world we're in.
Like basically whistleblowing and exposing the fraud that was there.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's 71 years old. She's a gold star mom, you know, and it's crazy. She's the one that got in trouble for election interference and tampering instead of those that actually did it.
Yeah, well, that's called projection, right? That's projection 101, right? They accuse you of what they're guilty of. But they're also Ed Martin. Don't forget the top dog with the Trump version 2 is moving her into a federal prison. And that's really interesting in itself. So taking her out of the deep state prison system and bring her into federal, now she's going to be part of future investigations onto 2020 election fraud. So there you go, folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking for some videos with her. I want to do like a whole show with her. You know, I mean, we've been talking about that for a while, and obviously our friends Aaron and Cappy, super close. All of our friends, right? And they talk about Tina Peters. So I want to learn more about her. So maybe we can do a special on her.
I've interviewed Tina before. We did on Hammer Time. You know, Juan set it up for us.
I was there. I remember that. Yeah, that was wonderful.
It was a good interview. I mean, it's sad now knowing that she, like, that was before, of course, she went into prison, and you know,
I
like
really I think she's part of the plan, sister. Honestly,
she may be, but it was still, you know, like you know what I mean. Yeah. in the popcorn movie theater, you know, it's hard to think that that's what some of the patriots have had to pay the ultimate price. You know, that they're just showing us the examples of what they've done, right? Like the only reason we know about Tina Peters is because of Juan, because Juan brought her up to the forelight.
Yeah, gotcha.
But I mean, like that's part of showing us the picture, you know, part of showing us what has been going on, right? So it's all part of the plan. But and some, I don't know if, you know, she's really there or not, but if she is,
that's a whole other thing, right? We gotta assume she is, because she's not out waving a flag somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I don't know.
Erin over on X, she's not in the chat, I guess, but over on X, she just posted this, and I was just talking about it. So I'm assuming she's listening. That'd be super crazy if she wasn't happened to post this. She must be listening, right? Tina Peters saved the evidence from Dominion update. Hawaii has more votes than ballots, and they just had a meeting about it yesterday. Oh, let's fucking go.
Tina Peters, right?
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's a big one. I was just mentioning that shit. So let me finish this Q job now. Thank you, Aaron. So why do some elections take more than a day to count? Can cheating be done after the polls are closed? Who controls the poll books? Who controls the databases, the air gap? Who controls the elections? Great question. I guess CISA, CISA, right? Well, maybe there's another answer. Why are extra ballots printed? This is like a common thing too. And again, on the surface level, you're not paying attention. It might make sense. Like, oh, maybe we're gonna have a lot more voters than we know. Like bullshit. These fucking people know almost exactly how many people are gonna come vote. And it's like there's all these extra printed ballots. I don't know a lot about it, but we've seen the machines can scan the same fucking ballot multiple times.
Your voter rolls, your local voter rolls should match how many ballots are produced and put out. Right? No more, no less. No more,
no less. And these voter rolls got people that ain't been alive or voting for fucking 20 years still on there, right? Or illegal immigrants.
That's why they got to clean up the voter rolls. You got to clean. You got to solidify and clean.
Everybody's got to help out with that. That's something. And when
that's being done in the background. Yeah, they got they have what do you call it, Kyle? The Melzie, the committee. They've got these committees already. Like Trump version 2 right now has all these task force committees that are going throughout the entire United States and cleaning these voter rolls as we speak. This is happening behind the scenes, folks.
Yes,
and they're being sued for it. And they're fucking being sued for it. Like the Democrat, like they're trying to hide the evidence, right? It's like, no, you can't touch these. Yes, we can. We have a federal election coming up. Yes, we can. Give us your voter rolls. We need to take a look and clean it up. No, we're going to sue your ass. That's how they use lawfare. It's sick, man, what they're doing.
Sickening. Sickening. All right, so let me go back to keep doing the job here. Why are extra ballots printed? I'll put a comment in the chat there. Y'all, nobody guessed where I'm going. The first hint is one of the 51 U.S. states. I don't think anybody even guessed. Y'all scared out there. I'm just kidding. If someone doesn't vote... Alaska. No, I'm leaving Alaska. So that answer's wrong. Good guess. Good guess. I could have went to another Alaska spot, but no, I'm leaving. Good question. If someone doesn't vote, can bad actors hijack their vote? Yes. And I've talked about this a little bit on some shows. I need to just find the video that explains it and that does the breakdown. These sick fuckers would scan people who'd voted and then had stopped voting. Well, they even just had a scan. It's called like a trolling across, open source data. If they saw somebody that was a voter, had been voting in elections, all of a sudden they're registered at a nursing home. They would watch these people, see if they're voting, and then they weren't. They started stealing their vote. Some of these people would be in nursing homes for 10 years. They couldn't even take care of themselves. They're invalids, and their sibling or the children come to find out that they've been voting for 10 years, and they've been taking care of them 10 years. They can't even talk. They can't feed themselves, and they're voting fucking Joe Biden, though. Of course, it's crazy to me, bro. And we just walk around like that's no big fucking deal. Oh, okay. How was the score of the Steelers game last night? What the fuck is wrong with us out there?
Remember when they told us that Social Security had people that were getting Social Security checks when they were 250 years old?
Yeah, there was people getting Social Security that weren't even born yet. They're born in the future. It's fucking retarded. You can't get any more retarded than that. You have people that are born in 2032.
They were also voting, though.
Jesus.
You see? You tell them that, everybody should be pissed off about that, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like they were just getting checks and they weren't getting cash. Somebody was cashing those checks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
And I guarantee you they were part of the criminal syndicate. They're part of the cabal.
It probably wasn't their family who was 250, sitting there, because they're all dead. So that's the insanity of it, right? They're willing to go to any extent to do any type of criminality. And so how can we be surprised sometimes? Well, we're still surprised.
We are still surprised.
When we see how, the depths of disparity that they're willing to go.
Check this out. Oh, sorry, Mel. Keep going.
That's it. That was it.
I think this was, this might have been 2024. If this is still 2024, this is insane that this was happening in 2024. And we're still just pushing on because Trump won. I knew Michigan had this really bad. Looks like this article is 2024. So let's see though. Check this out. Michigan's voter rolls are the fountain of youth, while Jocelyn Benson, is that their Attorney General or Secretary of State of Michigan, right? Or is that the actual governor? The governor is not Jocelyn. She's like AG or Secretary of State, one of the top 3 in the state. There's your governor. It's like the president of each state.
She's the Secretary of State.
Secretary of State. Okay, and then the governor in the state, the governor's like the president. Attorney General's like the vice president. Roughly, obviously they're different roles, but president is the governor, the vice president is the attorney general, and then the speaker of the house or the third highest person is the secretary of state. And that's Jocelyn Benson. I'm pretty sure they handle the election stuff specifically. Why is Jocelyn Benson giving the loons a reason to think massive fraud is about to be perpetrated? So if you want to live forever, then register to vote in Jocelyn Benson's Michigan. Apparently, there are 16,666 people actively registered to vote who are over the age of 100 years old in Michigan. That's still actively registered. 16,000. Interesting number there too, right? 16,666. That's more than the population of Grosse Pointe Woods. So one of these whole entire towns, there's allegedly a full town full of 16,000 plus people that are over 100 years old. What I know happened in Michigan in 2020 is like they had a computer program to basically make people in the computer. And the people were so lazy, they would make this person and then the computer would auto-generate their birth date, and it was resetting for whatever reason to 1900. So they're all born on January 1st, no less, January 1st, 1900. So in 2020, they were literally, it was like thousands of over 118-year-olds that voted in Michigan. It's like the oldest person in Michigan right now is like 112 or some shit like that. And they had thousands over 118 vote because they all were born on this January 1st, 1900 date. It's so fucking ridiculous. Let me keep going here. The only problem is the Social Security Administration shows there were only 2,900, basically 2,100 people over 100 years, centenarians, okay, basically. So only 2,000, but somehow 16,000 are registered. But again, Social Security, which is keeps track of old people, says there's only 2,000. But
that's
somehow
8 times. That's a factor of 8 right there, guys. That's insane.
Yeah. Yep, full 8, almost full the dial there. What would that be? Do 16. Somebody do that. Do 16, 666. I better just do that. Somebody, y'all lazy over there. I'm just kidding. You're not lazy. We might get distracted. Let's see. 16. Give me the number 16666 divided by 2119. Ooh, 911 yep. Ooh, what's it gonna come out to? Ooh, 7.865. 7.861. We should have gave the little mathematicians a chance to answer there for a second. That's right. So something stinks in the Great Lakes state. Secretary of Benson is a trained lawyer. She likely chose that profession because she is bad with numbers, but good at twisting words. On the other hand, Elon Musk builds rocket ships because he's good at math and science, real science, not political science. So for whatever reason, Benson pitched an online catfight with Musk and got her own numbers wrong. Earlier this week, Musk tweeted a simple question that can be answered with simple addition and subtraction. Michigan has more registered voters than eligible citizens. Is that true? So, I mean, like even more registered, because again, they have never cleaned up these voter rolls, than even all the possible people to be even eligible. It means every 18-year-old, every motherfucker, even if he's almost dead, still alive, all those numbers didn't have the number that Michigan had registered. That's fucking insane. Benson fired back with customary histrionics, however that word is. Let's be clear, at Elon Musk, this is the cabal, greedy psychopath Benson's take on Elon Musk. Let's be clear, Elon Musk is spreading dangerous disinformation. Never heard that one before. Here are the facts. There aren't more voters than citizens in Michigan. There are 7.2 million active and 7.9 citizens of voting age in the state, allegedly. Musk is pushing a misleading number that includes 1.2 million inactive records slated for removal in accordance with the law. Don't feed the trolls. Of course, they weren't going to fucking remove that until somebody made them. But let's keep going. It is the trolling secretary, the greedy psychopath Benson, who is, in fact, incorrect. And her mathematical errors are many. First, her own website shows the number of inactive voters slated to be removed from the qualified voters list is only 600,000, not 1.2 million. So where'd you get that number? Second, until they are removed, those inactive voters are still active by law and at any rate won't be removed until after the election. Third, there are not 7.9 million citizens of voting age in the state of Michigan. There are only 7.9 million adults.
Those are all Cult 93 numbers, by the way, as you're reading. Just saying, okay. I'm calculating in the back of my mind. This is all Cult 93 signal.
Okay, not all of whom are legally allowed to vote, and there's the rub, right? There's many disqualifications, felon, multiple things. It feels as though Benson considers herself the Kaiser of Town Square. Remember, she set up an election disinformation snitch line. She illegally instructed poll workers to disregard signature discrepancies. Yeah, mail-in ballots let's fuck it. We're gonna have millions. We don't even need to look at the signatures. We don't have time to do that. Like, it's fucking absurd. She attempted to ban firearms from polling stations. She tried to kick Dr. Colonel West Colonel West.
Cornell.
Off the ballot. Cornell, thank you. I knew that wasn't seem right. Thank you. Cornell West off the ballot while keeping RFK Jr. on the ballot when he was still independent or Democrat or whatever on the ballot because this would ostensibly help Kamala Harris. So it's almost over. National Democrats, with the help of Benson, kicked in about $1 million to get overseas citizens absentee ballots, even if they've never lived in the U.S. Oh my gosh. Benson claims there are as many as 265,000 such persons living abroad that really would be residing in Michigan. Yeah, fucking right. Yeah, right. The online form for requesting an overseas ballot is ludicrously simple. It requires no social security number, no valid state ID, no passport number, no next of kin. Just check the box swearing you are a citizen and she will email you a ballot. That's what's going on in fucking Michigan. And it's not the only state like that. Is that not insanity? I hope you understood what I just fucking read. You then print the ballot, fill it in, and return it in by snail mail. That's it. Curious, I filled one out at Sirhan. That's got assassinated RFK Jr. or RFK, excuse me, allegedly. Date of birth 3/19/1944. Current address Buckingham Palace. Family's last known Michigan address, the dumpster near Detroit City Hall. That's it. The website prompted me to electronically sign and press send. I assumed the King's footman would have received my ballot. I didn't sign the affidavit. That would be illegal. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel may be an incompetent boob. So that's the AG, Dana Nessel. And then Benson is the Secretary of State. And what's her fucking name? Gretchen Whitmer or whatever her name is the
governor.
Maybe Attorney General Dana Nessel may be an incompetent boob, but she's also famously vindictive. For her part, Secretary Benson has made voting more confusing than easy during her 6 years in office. Probably got fucking, ranked choice voting there too. You know how stupid that is. We covered that the other day. The election season now runs from 2 weeks before Election Day to 6 days after. Processing and tabulating the absentee ballots is now a full 8 days, making the process rife for skullduggery. Okay, of course it is illegal to illegally vote, but it's also illegal to commit armed robbery, and people still do it. I'm not claiming mass fraud is about to be perpetrated, but why is Benson giving the loons and baboons a reason to think so? Michigan is not known as a hotbed of civic engagement, so how is it that we have a high percentage of registered voters here, higher percentage of registered voters here than in Vermont, which is very politically active? You know, Vermont, where they speak French, post kilometers on their speed limit signs, forbid plastic bags, and vote for Bernie Sanders, the Socialist Democrat. They may have the burn in the Green Mountain State, but we've got those 16,666 centurions. I'll say it again. If you want to live forever, register to vote in Benson's, Michigan. But be warned, you may end up dying waiting for your vote to be counted. All right, so that just should make everybody sick. I can't believe that shit's happening. Anything to add on that? I'm going to go back to the Q drop. I still haven't finished.
No. The only thing I'm going to add to that is that this is the stuff that will be cleaned up prior to the midterm elections, and that's kind of how Melzie and I went with the flow on today's show. Is that, you know, we do need to participate. We all need to get involved. We need to see, when you see something, say something. But yeah, become part of your elections. You know, volunteer your time to become a poll watcher, a vote counter, whatever positions they have in your local areas, local communities. You got less than a year. Go sign up. Go find out. Make some new friends. You know, join more patriots. Come together and take your freaking country back. Because it's like they're waiting for us to do that. They're waiting for us to get involved, like others before us have already gotten involved. Let's just add to the numbers. Let's keep building the army, folks, the army of patriots that are going to make this a free and fair election once and for all and going forward, because that's the only way you're going to change the country and change the world. That's it.
That's it. That's all. That's it. It's a wrap.
Simple.
I'm trying to save that file in my election thievery file.
Yeah, and then let's polish off the rest of those deltas too. Maybe Melzie was right in there too, doing a
Yeah,
good,
let me
great
finish
job.
this. Let me finish this one. I'll let y'all do your thing here, and then I got to hop off pretty soon too. But okay, why are extra ballots printed? This is again Q drop 4960, guys. I'm gonna try to just go through the whole thing this time. Why do some elections take more than a day to count? Can cheating be done after the polls are closed? Obviously. Who controls the poll books? We should know. If I don't know, you guys probably don't know. So we need to know. Who controls the databases? Don't know that one either. Who controls the elections?
Well, I would say now, I'm thinking now that you read that article, who controls the poll books? The
Secretary
Secretary.
of State.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
and
Nice
I'm
one.
thinking like in Georgia because
Oh, yeah.
remember Rathensberger? Remember
Yep.
the little
Yep.
remember Trump and them had that phone call back then, and he
Yep.
knew Rathensberger had the poll books. He had them,
Yeah.
and he said Trump knew almost to the digit 11,749 votes. That's all I need,
We
and
need
he knew they were fraudulent votes.
Yes, we need to play that actually phone call. It's one of all the things I've listened or watched. I've actually listened to that, and it's really you. And
It,
I don't know if I've watched or listened to the whole thing straight through. We should totally do that because you also see the law of war manual and everything playing out. He's giving him the chance to come
yeah,
clean. He
yeah.
never says the media spun it, and he uses words very precisely to cause them to do this. And then because we knew, well, we didn't know necessarily that this plan was going to go this long, but it had to be this way. But he says all you need to do is find that number, 11,000, whatever the number of votes. He's
I
not
think it
saying,
was 11,746, I believe. I don't know why I remember that number, but I think, and that's
yeah, it
what,
was a very specific number. And it was a very specific number. Maybe want to check that out. What was the number? And again, the speech, though, is he's not telling Rapsesberger to basically find the votes for him to help him win. He's saying he gives him the list of things. He's like, this didn't make sense. This didn't make sense. There's so many guys like, and he called them election determining numbers. So again, like just for example, I'm trying to think of a good one. Is they did a canvassing and shit, and there's like 20,000 addresses where there's no person, it's not a dwelling like for people. That's either a business or there's no building there. 20,000, and he only needs again find 11,000 of something like that, and the election's fucking rigged.
which
Right?
tells me they already knew the numbers ahead of time. Like, I mean, that you talk about wizards and warlocks, Space Force, military intelligence,
Oh yeah, for sure.
the insert, like Melzie started the show
Watermarks.
earlier. The insurgency, we are the resurgent. I mean, we have embedded people that have been scoping this shit for many years, if not decades. They have it all on everyone.
Yeah,
They have it all.
yeah.
Yep.
What's going on? Everything good on the chats? What's going on? What's going on, you guys? All what's the squabble? What's the squabble all about?
No squabbling. Let's go back to the Q drops. I ignore all the
Restream it,
squabbling.
Rumble's
I do
good.
have a couple videos that I put into Diggers
Okay.
about the Muslim Brotherhood. One is
Oh, nice.
the Lord Mayor of London, who's also he is Muslim, and he comments how New York, I'll just say like he sees commonality in it, and Cindy put in that it's a testing ground for what they want to implement. So I think it could be, and
Which place is
and,
the testing ground?
New York.
New York.
Oh,
New
okay.
York.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I got
And
you. For him, yeah.
that relates to a lot of our show yesterday and last week's Muslim Brotherhood infiltration. Yeah, that's
Yep.
a tie into that, Cindy. Thank you. Yeah,
It was interesting to say. It was interesting because normally they would do their test programs on isolated small towns, right? Like you see that in Alaska, they do or in Hawaii, they're doing their test runs of their agenda. But this is kind of the opposite. You have the big city, the smart city, where there's so many people and they're lost in their own matrix narrative that it might be even easier to steal in that regard because there's such a big precinct, so people don't know who's voting where, what's what, right? There's going to be so it's kind of the opposite of testing certain things in a small isolated place. They're testing it in a big city because there's all this chaos, right? So the rest of the Q drop here. Who controls the elections? Why are extra ballots printed? I don't know that answer. If someone doesn't vote, can bad actors hijack their vote? Yes. Okay. And that's what I was explaining. This is just one example, but this was invasive on a high level. Like they were using these computer programs that would track people that were voting and they're older. And when they stopped voting or just registered or checked in at a nursing home, they would like check in the staff, it's all like public information. And if this person who'd been a regular voter turns up in a nursing home, they were going to watch and see if they were going to vote. If they didn't, they were stealing their vote. And they've been doing that for years and years and years, like thousands upon votes, for multiple years. It's fucking crazy. Okay. So, someone doesn't vote, can bad actors hijack their vote? Yes. How? Okay, I'll just explain that kind of. Why did the National Guard activate cybersecurity teams? Ooh, this was 2020. Also, National Guard was deployed all over the country during the 2020 election, kids. Most secure election in history. Ooh, it was. It was definitely monitored. Doesn't mean we didn't let things happen, but it was monitored, all of it. Okay. Why did the National Guard activate cybersecurity teams? Who gave the order to activate cybersecurity teams? That would be the commander in chief. Why? To protect the elections? To claim the midterms are safe? Safe from what? Setting the stage. Watch carefully. White hats have secured many systems, but problems still remain. Oh, I got a bunch of chills. This is just what happened in all this bullshit, this special election. It showed all that, right? The person's on the ballot multiple times, even if they're like endorsed by two parties, that's a terrible idea. I mean, there's just so many other things. The pens, right? What else there? People got like threatened and bullied. I mean, it was like everything off the rails. It was like one of the worst ones. This special election was all this fucking shenanigans again. So something fucking has to happen here. All right, White Hats, I'm calling on you guys. Mr. White Hat himself is telling y'all, get your shit together. What are we waiting for? Let's do this shit. Or what do we got to do to do it ourselves? Okay, we've been trying. You have all the tools you need. So Q is telling us we need to be the answer, right? We have to do the work. We got to go clean the voter rolls. We got to call our politicians and say, there's all this evidence of fraud. You need to don't endorse this elector. However they do that with these special election shit, like say, hey, we need to needs to be investigated, right? And then vote, of course. So Tim's been talking about that 2016 and beyond vote, but there's got to be something else here, and we got to do all this.
Well, the other way I look at the bottom of that Q drop too is that they are doing the heavy lifting, brother and sisters. I mean, they're going after those voter rolls. They are being sued for it, which is the defense of the deep state, the cabal, trying to hide the evidence. The evidence is that they're corrupt. Everything is corrupted. They cheat. And Trump has said it. They only know how to lie, cheat, and steal, right? So if the task force and all of them implemented by Trump version 2 and aka the military intelligence, as that Q drop just alluded to, they're tracking and tracing it all. They will clean that up. We have all the tools we need. We just need to go vote. There's more of us than them. So this midterm election that's coming up in less than a year, there's no excuse for us not to have a red tsunami in that midterm election based on what we're reading in these Q drops.
Yeah.
So Erin just dropped something, and she said it says that Scott Leinendecker just bought Dominion voting system, giving him ownership of voting systems used in 27 states. So that like who owns the poll books? Well, it seems that Scott Leinendecker owns the poll books.
That's not true. The Secretary of States have the poll books.
No, I'm just saying that just like Elon Musk bought Twitter, and then he became X, and he bought the crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
So did he just buy the crime scene? Is what I guess I'm thinking.
That makes sense. That makes sense the way you worded it there. Yeah, like maybe by buying, but I mean, Dominion wouldn't be stupid enough to leave any evidence on those machines prior to a sale.
I think that's like the capitulation thing they're showing, right? Like they're sold it. Why would they sell it if everything was on the up and up? You know what I mean? Like this is that's that public capitulation for us to see that. 27 states, JFK, let's go.
27, JFK or Cult 93, right? We're going to clean up the cult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting, though. That's over half the states.
He owns the company who supplies the poll books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to know about that stuff. We got to keep an eye on that shit. You got some videos you said, Mel? And then
a couple more deltas.
2:17 on the clock. That's the Q School start hour. 2 hours.
Anyway, guys, I gotta bow out. I gotta get ready for dinner. Matthew's dinner. But, finish up those Q drops, please, Kyle and Melzie. They're really powerful. They really connect to our conversation today. House of Cards. It's all about the House and the Senate. Midterm elections coming, folks. You got to get involved. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. I'll probably see you chatting in the Telegram channels throughout the weekend. Thanks, Kyle. Happy traveling. Happy traveling. And Sister Melzie, love, love, love. Thank you for
love.
Doing what you do.
Love you. All right. See you soon. Yep.
Okay. It's just the Lord Mayor of London one, and it ties into the voting we just had in New York. So I think it's significant. But
did you did you guys talk about how what's his name? The UK, what's his name, man? He lost his lordship, Windsor, all that shit. The Epstein guy, the Prince. Is it Prince or what was his name? You know what I'm talking about?
Prince Edward.
Is it Edward?
Yeah, he's the one who got. Are you saying? Did you like the one that got his titles removed?
Yeah. Is it Edward?
Yeah,
Edward doesn't sound right.
yeah. Andrew.
Andrew, there it is. Andrew.
Yep.
Um, yeah, did you cover that at all?
No,
That's
but I have some stuff in here about it. I mean, I think it's significant because you know, I don't know that that's ever been done where the brothers King was involved enough in the legality of covering his ass. They're not. I mean, he can't use legal funds anymore from like the. I don't know if he has any personal money either. He has to leave his residency and go into a different place and use his own funds for legal representation of himself. And then he can't have title anymore. He has no title as a duke. So he won't be able to, if something happened to King Charles and everybody in line, then he would have no access to the throne either. So that's a big deal, I think, to the people of England, really, and all around the world that are controlled by the crown, that there's something amiss in that family.
Yeah. Oops, where did that go? So somebody in the chat, SR Cell 343, uniteforfreedom.com. So they got the link in the chat. If you guys over on Rumble there, see that's unite for the number 4, uniteforfreedom.com. We're in 29 other states, including Colorado. We're on Rumble. So let's get these organizations that can help, like people know this stuff. They can help us. Like if you don't know, there's organizations out there. If you just seek them out, they'll help you put you to work on different things, and you'll start to understand stuff. And it's an important part of taking back our country, guys. We can't just sit on the sidelines and watch the sports and when's going to happen? Like, you got to get involved. I know I'm saying that to myself, all of us, a lot of us hate politics, but it's like, we have to get, it's a country of the people, by the people, for the people, a government, which we need a new word, a stewardship of the people, by the people, for the people. So we got to do that. Did you read this tweet here did you do this one, post it right, Mel?
We did. Yep.
Okay. What about 2448? This looks like a good one. I'm going to just read it.
No, we didn't read
This
this
is
one.
perfect. And then I went on the other long one, but it all connected. So here's Q job 2448. 24 is half of 48. November 7th, 2018, 1:10:14 timestamp. We are at war. Think logically. Why was winning the House majority the primary goal for them? To this point, what chamber is currently directing the DOJ and FBI investigations? I think that's Senate on this one. I'm not quite sure. But House can do impeachments and start investigations. I think I heard Tim explain it really well earlier. They kind of like start stuff, but the Senate is like the prosecutorial, the confirmation stuff, okay? To this point, what chamber is currently directing? You guys read that? To this point, what chamber do they feel most threatened by? So Q kind of set them up thinking the House was the most important part to capture because they wanted to be able to impeach Trump and do all their freaking bullshit lawfare stuff. While the focus was on the House, for them, due to above, our underlying focus was adding pro-POTUS members to the Senate and safely securing a pro-majority. Just a little time travel back through time, guys, a little nostalgia here. This is a great example of panicking and not understanding the plan. Is people that were getting on board with Q already. 2018, it's this brand new thing. We're excited. Again, most of us maybe never even had been involved with politics, and we get like brought into this. And again, they didn't tell us who to vote for, but you start figuring things out. So you'll go vote in the 2018 midterm. I didn't, but there was a lot of campaigns, all this stuff, and then boom, they lose the House. They being the Republicans, and even before Q came back and said anything, intuitively I was just like, I bet you that was supposed to happen. Then it was still a shock at first, but it was like that was probably supposed to happen. And then Q, sure enough, finally comes to it and says Senate was the target all along, and then we didn't understand why losing the House. But that also exposes voter fraud too. If Democrats gain seats in the House, but they lose seats in the Senate, how does that make sense? Like that's just not how elections normally work. That's everybody's vote, especially how polarized everybody is, right? So they allowed some sort of theft there, okay? And then the Senate is really the key part, right? But again, I'll read this one again. While the focus was on the House for them due to the above, Our underlying focus was adding pro POTUS. Again, the swamp is on both sides. We had to like get real pro POTUS people in there, members to the Senate, and safely securing a pro majority. So we had to get rid of swamp Republicans and then still also capture a majority in the Senate of, all these different Republicans, with still the swamp mixed in there, but we were going to use them as leverage. The Senate is worth so much more. Here's some of the things the Senate does. The Senate controls judges in cabinet positions without House approval. So they just, again, they have the immediately approval process without the House even being involved. That's how powerful the Senate is. And it's simple majority on most of that stuff. So they can do all the main things. But that's what we're going to have, and Tim's talking about quite a bit, is the super majority. I kept saying 2/3. It's actually 3/5, which that's not that many. 3/5 is, again, the 60. So I think Tim said numbers, not that many seats need to be won by the Republicans to have that super majority. It's not like some outrageous number. So that's going to be really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think he said 13.
I think I heard that number too. That's okay.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. And then a lot of people are not running for Senate also. They're going to governor, or they're stepping down. There's going to be more. Many more will not be seeking re-election. Major Q proof, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, not seeking re-election. She's not the Speaker of the House anymore. She's not seeking re-election. And we also had that with Paul Ryan. And again, quantum Q proofs. Okay. The Senate Judiciary Committee has direct oversight over the DOJ and FBI, more power than the House. So that was kind of key there too. Oversight of the DOJ and FBI, which is supposed to be doing all these prosecutions. While we had a Senate majority on paper, this is really important. Again, the swamp is on both sides. While we had a Senate majority on paper, in reality, we never did, nor could we count on bringing investigations to that body until it was safely in our full control. Because that's the problem too. You finally get this investigation you want, but you have a corrupt, House and Senate, and then they just throw the shit out. They literally just throw it out, and they don't even do their thing, and it's wasted, right? So this is why this plan is so vital, so well scripted, and so strategically done. It can't be no willy-nilly shit going on. It's all strategic by the book with a little time travel. While we had a Senate majority on paper, in reality, we never did, nor could we count on bringing investigations to that body until it was safely in our full control. The Senate was always the primary objective. Again, Q was pushing before. They made it seem like the House was so important. Got them. Okay, these people are stupid. Switch, bait and switch. Okay, Q knew they were going to be watching the drops, and just like Anon's thinking, okay, the House, we got to vote, Moves and counter moves. We defied history by picking up Senate seats. Okay, I've talked about this several times. In general, in the American elections, there's only two parties, right? You could say there's more, but there's not. There's only two parties, okay? When the one party wins the presidency, let's say it's a Democrat like Barack Obama, the next following midterms, the other party is motivated, because again, most people pay attention to just the president. They're upset their party isn't in the presidency. So they're more motivated to vote in the midterms. So almost every year, when one party gains the presidency, the following midterms, the other party gains seats in the House and Senate. It's actually kind of a nice, its own checks and balances system built in, right? But what happened in 2018 was unprecedented. As Trump was president and Republican president, you would expect that the Democrats would gain seats in the Senate. And then we also saw the Democrats gain seats in the House. And again, they had their base totally drum up. Trump's a working stooge for Putin, and he stole the election, and and all this craziness. It's Hillary Clinton's glass ceiling. We got to get Trump, guys. They're motivated. They gain seats, which is expected, but the Republicans gain seats in the following midterm after a Republican becoming president. Unprecedented. So that's already demonstrating to us that we had a lot more support than we realized, right? They've been doing these elections a certain way to keep this fucking story going down the road. But make no mistake, there will be justice, there's going to be retribution, and all this shit's coming down. The whole disease crump Timble on its head. Kash Patel didn't say that by accident. He wasn't wearing Punisher socks. And whatever the bullshit with Israel, and he's 2.0, we're playing as actors on the stage. Epstein's going down. All these motherfuckers will be prosecuted. They already have, but it's coming. We need y'all to get active and get involved. Hope you understand what I'm saying. Melzie agrees. All right, let's keep going.
But getting involved may look different for everyone.
That's true. That's true. And
So-
there's small steps, right? Just find out where the location is. Find out what you can do, or where's the office. Go meet the guy.
Maybe it's
at the office.
pasting memes.
And- yeah.
Maybe it's wearing, I don't know, but there's different things that we can. Maybe it's putting signs out. Maybe it's baking cookies. Maybe
Yeah.
it's going to events and meeting some people and speaking to these people that are running so that you can see what they're about. Like those are big things too, talking to them. I went to, back when I was long ago, my ex-husband ran for a public place in Germany, and we would go to these meetings and meet the people and talk to them and see what they were about and debate with them, right? And that's, I think, what needs to happen as well. So it's not just about voting, but we do need to also become more participatory.
Yep. You have
Yeah.
to. It's a must. It's a must. Was this the original Nancy Pelosi thing? Oh, I think it was. Check this out. Maybe I'll never seen this. This is how hard our boy DJT goes. I just popped over. I got a little scrolled
Oh yes.
on X.
Did you see it?
It's been a while, so let me
Oh
explain
yes.
this. So he sent this again. This is probably when she started to impeach him. Let me see if I can bring this image up.
Did you see what he wrote on the side?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing that right now. Can you see that?
Okay.
Okay. I'll read it for you guys. But White House, December 20th, 2019. Again, they're impeaching Donald Trump for asking if there was corruption with Ukraine when Biden said it himself. The Honorable Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, Representative. So Trump is writing this letter to Nancy Pelosi. This is probably after she tore up his State of the Union address. That was probably 2019 or even 2018. Okay, dear Madam Speaker, frankly, we do not agree on much, but I will agree with you that the founders of the United States of America did have much foresight in establishing our beautiful country. For that, I promise to present a State of the Union address in February. Wow, I was just saying State of the Union. And I keep my promises. That's
Muted. It.
You got me? Test
Yeah,
it.
muted. Sorry. There you go.
Good now? Okay. All right, kick me out here. So here we go. So you and there's missing an I guess. You and both. Okay, no, you and
Would you
both.
zoom in just a little bit more?
It's for some reason it's like stopping me. It's the way he
Okay.
made this attachment. Oh, here we go. This is a better one. There we go.
There. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so dear Madam Speaker, okay, I'm back. For that, I promise. I always keep my promises. You and both houses of Congress shall receive an address on the successful state of our economy, our dealings with allies and foes alike, and the biggest threat to our union. I am eager to hear your response after my remarks. This is probably the one she tore up too, right? And anyways, Congress will need to work together with me to solve the many issues before us. Unnecessary distractions will only serve to undermine what keeps our union a union. Nevertheless, you are free to pursue what you wish. Merry Christmas, and may 2020 be a bounteous year for us all. So it sounds all nice, but look at the first letter of each line, and it's mostly all capitalized. F-U-C-U-N-T. There it is. F-U-C-K-Y-O-U-C-U-N-T. See you next Tuesday.
Troll King.
So there it is. There's spelled for you if you're keeping track at home. If you can't do math, there it is.
You should do gematria on that.
I know, I want to. So let me finish this job, and then we'll probably wrap it up pretty soon. Okay, so we defied history by picking up Senate seats. I was just explaining that. Patriots delivered. Disinfo necessary. Q was talking about making it sound like we need the House. Enemy at the front door means they're also watching everything we're doing. Our attempt at reassurance, RE last drop regarding House, Senate, backed by POTUS tweet directly thereafter, stating the same thing, should have put this to bed. I wish I knew exactly what that was. That's, again, as I say, when these situations arise in the movie we're watching play out, where the trust the planners, the Q people are the truthers, they're probably not hardcore Qers, start becoming panicins. This is what happens is the Q team always gives us a confirmation that lets us know, hey, everything's okay. Mom Donnie wins the election in New York City. What happens? Boom, they hacked into his party, and it says President Trump is your president. Are you paying attention? Biden gets sworn in on Inauguration Day. Not at noon. It was before, which is against the Constitution. The military does a funeral procession, not a fucking dignitary of getting a presidency. And then what does he do? He signs 17 blank executive orders. In case you didn't know who's in full control. Hope you guys understand this shit. Most of you guys do. Don't listen to these black pillar shills. They're full on panic. That's all they got. They're full. All the shills are out there. Just fucking block these people. Find the other lions. Screw the sheep. Let's keep moving forward. How many coincidences before it's mathematically impossible? We've done the math. We even have AI proving this. 100% proof and validation. Q team is real and legit. Do you think the current shill attack? Oh my gosh, I just talked about shill. Do you think the current shill attack is organic? Definitely fucking not. These are all operatives, bots, everything. I've shown other videos of the bots. They have like one person can be doing like 30, 40 different accounts. Now they got AI running this shit. Stop arguing with these fucking idiots in the comments. They're probably not even real people. Find your other lines and just move forward. Fuck everybody else. It's enough. Enough fucking quivering down and feeling nice to these. It's over. We've had enough. Fucking enough. Hopefully Tim hears this. He knows what I'm saying. Buckle up, baby. Buckle up, Q. What do you think, Melzie?
Woo!
Right?
You know that one picture that has what is he? I can't remember his name. He was in was it Mad Max? Never mind. And he goes, "Whoo!" You know that one?
That's
Never mind. That was what it was like. Wow. Kyle's on fire. So thanks, Kyle, for doing that and getting us all coming back in and getting us all on fire.
I'm really cool. There's a few more cute, really good posts.
There's if we wanted to just play that one thing with the Lord Mayor of London, I think it'll tie into what we were talking about today. It's in Diggers. And then Vinny did a really nice, I don't know if you saw it, but Vinny did a really great, I guess sent it to your DM. The Vinny thing where, the video that you asked for earlier.
Okay, you want me to do which one? The 143-minute thing or which video at the very bottom?
The 140, yep.
Okay, let me do this one first. I'll do their thing.
So you don't want my ID? How do you know it's me then?
We can look it up by menu.
I could just give you a fake name.
We can give you up by menu.
Signature, we check signatures.
Yeah.
No, this is.
Not
If you don't check,
supposed to give you ID unless
if you don't
it's
check,
Is it what we want?
you don't know this is our signature.
No,
manual entry.
No, we don't want this.
this isn't it. No.
Why are you blowing it, Melzie?
Oh, I didn't see it. Well, it wasn't.
I'm just teasing you.
All right, there it's on the bottom. I need a better chair.
Well, when you're doing show for 3-4 hours, you're doing a really good job.
Well, there are many parallels that New York and London have, and there are many parallels that Soren and I have. And congratulate the city of New York. They've chosen, in a bitterly contested election, hope over fear, unity over division, and I'm already experiencing the ripples of hope and happiness coming from his victory. Well, there are many parallels that New York and
And Aaron, yeah, we muzzled you. You muzzled you. You're on delay because you need to be muzzled. Just kidding. We see your comments. I don't know if you can see. We can't respond back to you. Okay, so there's the video. Okay, check out these Q drops. These are the next ones, the deltas. These are really, really hot. We're going to keep getting fired up. So right here, 24:49, November 7th, all these deltas. Ooh, look at these timestamps. Anon, a.k.a. Anon, 1:10:10. Q responds at 1:10:51. Q drop 51. God bless USA, or was it? And then signed by the White Hats. POTUS just said these people are sick. Okay, this is probably one of the first times he finally said it. Q had been saying it, then Trump says it publicly. Hello, how much more obvious you got to get? Q responds 41 seconds later. We are with you, Anons. They are communicating to us even right now, guys. They're fucking watching us. They're like, hey, everything's okay. Do your part. Do your fucking thing. Keep watching Q School. Oh, speaking of what you said, Mel, everybody's got different roles. Yeah, maybe somebody go out and bake and just incredible, amazing cookies, a big ass batch of them, invite a bunch of random people over to eat them, and turn on Q School on a projector screen on the wall on full volume for everybody. Okay, 24:50. We are going. Actually, you want to do this one, Mel?
All right. We're going to show you a new world. Those who are blind will soon see the light.
Amen.
Beautiful, brave new world lies ahead. We take this journey together, one step at a time. Where we go one,
we go all.
Q.
Nice. Good job, Mel. Okay, good post. Everybody check this one out. This one's the Americans. This is the embedded in there. Again, we read it just the other day. Oh, it's a 157 timestamp. You gotta be shitting me. Okay, this is fucking awesome. And again, be 13 on the military. So I've never seen this one. They showed the post just the other day where it said POTUS is our savior. Again, it says POTUS. It doesn't say Trump. It says POTUS. And I was mentioning these other similar kind of drops. Who wants to find out? Oh, there's the number. Let's see if that's really Q drop 2442. Somebody double check that. What you got? And then so check this out. So this QJob 2442 embedded. Interesting, the screenshot capture doesn't have a title on this one. Why would it not have a title? This seems like some big time coding for my autists out there. Okay, so this QJob allegedly 2442. We got to double check that number. It says history is being
determined.
made. Say again.
Title to be determined.
Yeah, and that's odd because to have the screenshot of that. So QJob. Well, I gotta see what number it is. Let's see.
Maybe it makes sense. Okay, title. It's to be determined because look what it says. Read it. Go back into it a second.
Okay.
It says history is being made, right? So the title, we can't title it yet because history is being made, and we haven't created the future title yet. Does that make sense?
Ooh, I like where your head's at, Mel. I like your head. So I went to directly to.
And it's 11:6, which would be 9/11 reversed. Then look, you have 16/16/21, which.
So we're gonna check all this stuff out. Okay, so what I did there, I went over to Q. I had to double check it because it was a screenshot of a Q post. I wanted to make sure the drop number was right, so I'm gonna show you the drop number is right, 2442. Their timestamp is again the PM, so that would be. This would be 14/16/21 military. Watch this shit. We go over here. This is why you double check this. It should be 14/16, but it's 16/16/21. So it's 2 hours off. There's a big decode here. I'm telling you for the autists. Y'all paying attention out there. Look at this. It's QJob 24 and then mirrored 42 or 44 inside of 22. But look at this on the Patriots fight board. So it's on 8chan, and then 8chan would have different subboards, right? And where different QJobs came from. And this is the 422nd Q drop, or no, excuse me, 422nd drop on Patriots fight, including all the people. Maybe it's only Q can post on there. Either way, it's 422, and the freaking Q drop number is 2442. But our timestamp is 2 hours off. So let's go to the delta from today. So this is today's delta, 2451. Screenshot of 2442 in there. 2 hours off on the time zone. This time is 157 for 2451. So this is going to be a wild one. History is being made. You are the saviors of mankind. Nothing will stop what is coming. Nothing. Q. Is that what the actual drop said over here? It was. Okay. Okay. Nothing. And then Q responds. Let's see. Thank you for your service to our country, Mr. Trey Gowdy. Thank you for your service to our country, Mr. Bob Goodlot. Your sacrifices will never be forgotten. Q plus
my gosh.
On the bottom.
We read about him, those two guys earlier.
Howdy, yeah. And maybe he read that one, but I don't know. It was good to read.
No, I don't think so, because it was in something else. Because I asked about it. You know, they were, I thought good latte.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
That guy's name all the time. So.
Mrs. Good Latte. Yeah, she has this coffee shop down the road.
Q plus on the bottom, Q plus plus on top. So let me go a few more. These are fun ones. You do this one, Mel, 2452.
Thank you for your service to our country, Mr. Jeff Sessions. Your sacrifices will never be forgotten. Q plus.
Q plus, two back-to-back Q pluses. Interesting one, huh? Okay. Q plus shared that image. Ooh, here's the image again on 2451. Still no title in there. Still the wrong timestamp. So it's using the same screen capture, 2442 of the other. Actually, the whole thing's embedded here. So it's actually Q.
Why is it 2442 and it wasn't 2442?
It was. I double checked it.
It was. Okay. All right. Okay.
So this is actually what's happening here is this is going to be Q post, a screenshot of Q post 2451 now, embedded in 2453. That's kind of trippy to me. Again, this is a big decode shit here because there's a screenshot of 2451 embedded in 2453, which has 2442 embedded. Okay, there's we read that part. That's the 2451. 2453, Q shares a Donald Trump tweet. And he says, we thank Attorney General Jeff Sessions for his service and wish him well. Permanent replacement will be nominated at a later date. And that's, I think, Pacific time. So Eastern would be 3:44. We got to double check that. 11:44 is pretty cool on my end. November 7th. So again, same day, thanking Attorney General Jeff Sessions, just like Q did, right? Melzie just read it right here. Thank you for your service to our country, Mr. Jeff Sessions. Wonder which one was first. That is important. I'm not sure who went first there. All right, and then so there's the tweet, and then it says, while we cannot telegraph everything for reasons all can understand, we do try in our own way to inform loyal anons and pages. I was just talking about this shit, Mel. We're fucking time traveling, talking to ourselves right now. Here I am talking to myself again. 157's in this Q drop. Probably just a coincidence. All right, so let's keep going. What are the odds? Thank you for your service was posted less than 1 hour prior to POTUS regarding sessions. Thank you.
Wow.
Do you believe in coincidences? How many coincidences before mathematically impossible? The Senate was the key, kids, and it is again, especially for the 3/5 to get all the things passed we've been talking about. Enjoy the show, Q. Bam. I think that's a good one to end on right there.
I think so.
Yeah, so let's dig up a little clip here. Any y'all got a clip out there you want to ask? I saw a few guesses out there. I saw.
Yeah, the one that Vinny did.
Where is it?
I sent it to
Oh,
you.
okay, DM me. Okay, and then so that's good for a close. How long is that one?
Not long, maybe 2 minutes, a minute. Yeah, 2 minutes.
All right. So thank you, everybody. Again, we got a few guesses. There was New Mexico, Nevada. What else did I see on there? Not quite sure. So maybe keep an eye on my Instagram. Maybe I'll update some people up and maybe show some rounds planned. Maybe we'll pop in Saturday. I don't know. We'll see. Gonna be hitting the road though. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. All right, you DM'd it. No, you put in MelzieKaye or something. It's okay. I'm there.
It's there. You see it.
Oh, I want to play the Adam thing too. That was freaking awesome. Let's do that
That's
right
the
now.
Adam thing. That's what we're doing.
One video. Oh, this is so cool. I want the actual file. I couldn't find the damn file. Like disappeared. I want to post that.
I sent it to you. Just download it. All you need to do.
It was being weird on the phone. It's tripping out with the Telegram. Anyways, okay.
Right, try it again.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
From Telegram.
Love
you
y'all.
know, try it from Telegram.
The chat's all stuck on me too, so I can't read anything too. All right, so we're gonna end our video from one of our own, Vinny, and it's got Tim in there and my brother Adam Charles Branch. That fucking fires me up. This thing's awesome. So
this is great, Vinny. You did an awesome job. You're watching.
Thanks for watching us, friends. Here we go.
Grab your brothers and sisters that want to unite and form an alliance and keep moving and branching out and spreading out and expanding this movement. By all means, come and join us because we're not backing down. We're not giving in. We're not giving up. And we won't take no bullshit from nobody. We're done with it.
Tell them, Tim.
And we know what's going on.
My mama has my countenance. The ante, we've upped the ante here, people. This is life is life, right? Gambling's gambling. And what makes it different is when you put more money on the table. So what we're doing is putting everything on the table. And if you're not going to put everything on the table, then you're probably not going to want to play ball with us because you're going to know that we're all in. And if you're not, then you're going to stay far away from that. And I'd like to say this to people, you can't make a bet in the fourth quarter.
Based on.
Okay. Yep, I'm all in. I've been all in. And if I may, real quick before Jim, I know you wanted to say something real. I just want y'all to know this, real quick. We're all in this shit together. It's no one above another. We need to treat each other better. That's the only way that we'll make it out of the desert. Cause I don't want to be stuck in this motherfucker forever. But who would? No one in their right minds. So that's where you cast your net. Let that light shine like a bright sign at nighttime. And you might find a bunch of dead pythons. I told you, they can't survive the light, so keep shining bright. As long as you're trying to fight, I'll be behind the mic, and it'll be kind of like when two lions fight over some dynamite. Let them cowards know this is our show, so look out below, because it's about to blow and leave a cloud of smoke and a crowd of ghosts. That's just how it goes. Bars.
Oh, my boy, Adam Charles Branch. We got Sean in there. We got Tim doing his thing. That was fucking amazing. Vinny, Vin Bar, right? Vinny, not Vinny X, the other one. Vinny Bar. Made that for us. We've got so much amazing stuff. Susan Calloway made that other amazing video. I mean, all you guys have different stuff. Thank you guys for all the amazing stuff. That's such like the coolest gift ever. And like giving back to us, we love that stuff. And you guys do such good stuff, so much talent. Again, the one Susan made, I want that to be our intro for a while if we keep bringing it up. But y'all make some other stuff. Let us know. We want y'all in there too. Y'all put your little clips, your digs, and photos when we have these get-togethers. We're gonna put in all these videos. If this doesn't signal, you're on the right side. We got the best music. We got the best memes. We got the best videos. It's fucking exciting, right? How can people not get it? And we don't have to worry about that. Again, find the other lions. Fuck the sheep. Not that way. Just forget about them. Find their lions. A lot of women out there, right? Whoa. I was doing so well. Went off the rails.
No, you did so good up to there. All right.
Thanks
Reel
for
it on
having me,
home.
guys. I
Okay,
appreciate
you
it.
guys. Thanks so much.
Send
you guys.
prayers and love. Send Kylie Bird's got angels on his shoulder, but send some prayers and love for the travels. Big deal. You know, it's always a big deal to move and stuff. So thank you guys. Thanks for having me on. Thanks, Timbo. Thanks, Melzie, for holding the line while I was gone. You guys did fucking awesome. Thanks for letting me hang out for a little bit today. Love you guys so very much. Appreciate it. Love.
Bye-bye, guys.
All right. Love.
See you next week.
Next time.
Yeah.
Q School, baby, your mom's favorite show. Tell your friends and family. Get your ass in here. We'll be back Monday.